Could that just put him over the edge?
I'm not too sure. I don't think they did well.
He's a bully.
I'm just so sick and tired. I'm hanging on a wire, a foot over the fire, and it's burning. I can feel it inside. Done with the same cliche, done with the day after day. There's got to be a way. Now is the time to break the tide. I'll live, I'll die for what is wrong and what is right. I'll take the pain for all the ones without a name. To be invincible, we'll be invincible.
They still have a lot of holes to fill.
He didn't get fired. He didn't get fired. No, he didn't get fired. He never got his contract renewed. Hey guys, welcome to Two Guys in Hockey Talk special draft. Hang on, buddy. I got my bell. We have our draft edition coming to you guys live right here at Two Guys in Hockey Talk. We're going to talk you through. We're going to explain things out. But Pavel, we are back. This is our second to last time we're going to actually meet for this season, and we're going to be off for like 7 weeks.
Woo. What a breath of fresh air to not hear from you. I'm just kidding. It's going to be exciting. We're going to miss you guys, and we're going to be wrapping up for the next season. But, Evan, we got to get into the draft because there's a lot going on. So remember to like, share, subscribe, give us a follow. We appreciate it. We've got a lot to cover. We are covering the round one. Now, there's more than that rounds, but we are here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We've had a heck of a season, Evan. We're going to go through some highlights, some of the things happening around the league. July 1st is, free agency frenzy, Canada Day for those of you tuning in from Canada, and we've got a lot going on. It's going to be exciting. So let us know your comments, your thoughts, what's going on. I do have my bevy.
Woo, okay, hang on. I'm opening it. Bro. So my wife struggles with the cap. I'm good. Okay, I'm just throwing stuff everywhere here. I have a lot to clean up later on. So, hey.
Did you stay within the cap or are you going over the cap?
I think I might have went over the cap. So I'm just letting you know, though, when it comes to true hockey fans, I kicked my wife out of the house and I brought my mom in. So even though she's a Calgary Flame fan, maybe I'll point her out a little bit later, that I'm still allowing her in the house because we only want hockey fans here tonight. So, hon, if you're listening, I love you, but I'm glad you're at a movie and not here in the cap and yelling. So just so you guys know, we've had to do a special edition. We have to be careful because of copyrights. So you'll notice in the screen, I'm going to be keeping, hopefully there's no problems with technology. It's just on a couple second delay. You'll see the actual draft there in front of you. We're on about a 10-second delay on the screen so I can walk you through stuff as things are happening tonight. So we have some discussions that we can have before they're ready to step up. What are some things? Do you have something you want to talk about? I have a few different stuff. I got a few different slides. I've been on Twitter, buddy. I've been around. I'm hearing rumors, just like we talked about the other day, some different stuff being said. Let's think about this one. Hang on. Let me go to it a little bit further. I'm going to pull it up here in just a sec. Guys, got to excuse me as I'm a little late on this one. You can talk about this. Your thoughts.
Nikita Zadorov will not be resigning with the Canucks. GM Patrick Alvin has announced today. Big miss. Clearly, they wanted to fit him under the cap. They didn't. They just signed Dakota Joshua. They have a few other agents that they're looking at signing. They re-signed Tyler Myers for 3x3.
So this is going to be interesting, isn't it? Because they've lost Lindholm, who they traded for. They lost Zadorov, who they traded for.
Well, they haven't lost him technically yet.
Well, you and I know. I mean, what's the chances of them signing him? Unless there's something behind the scenes we don't know about. And they're going to – but I think to keep him, the fact he didn't already sign, he's hoping, unless maybe Boston's going another direction or doesn't have the cash flow. But he's getting signed. I think when we get back on the air on Wednesday, I'm sure Lindholm's going to Boston. It's one of the big secrets that's being kept out there because no one has proof of anything. But let's face it, I think there's a wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I want to say he's going to stay in the Canadian market, and I'm looking at Ottawa. That's my prediction. But it'll be interesting to see where he goes and what happens because there's a lot. Now, the Senators are also looking to move Chychrun. So as we were just talking about, Florida Panthers, LA Kings, the Red Wings, and Chicago Blackhawks are some of the clubs that are much interested, right?
So what do you think? Do you think Chychrun's on the move again? Eh?
Yes, he is. Yeah. Theos is coming in, and he's trying to change things up. They brought in Olmark. They want to bolster up that back end, and they want to be competitive, as you indicated on Wednesday, for a playoff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so Larry Brooks, this is interesting. He reports the Rangers are actually looking at potentially a reunion with Patrick Kane. I wonder if this is really about the fact that he'd come off an injury. He was still healing. They wanted to get a good year under their belt before they considered it again. And then they did lose some of their other players and made some changes. Do you think good move or bad move?
For Patrick Kane?
If the Rangers brought him back.
I think so. I think the Rangers could use somebody of his stature and nature. He can put in an easy goal. He's fit in well there. I know the Rangers are against the cap, and the big one's going to be Shesterkin. But I think if they get him on a low cap, I think it will be beneficial. However, I think what Patrick Kane is looking for is term. He really wants term to really happen. So,
interesting.
And Stamkos, yeah, it sounds like Tampa Bay offered him around $3 million for a couple of years, and he is going to test the free agency market. And there's a few teams pursuing it, including the Red Wings. But I'm hearing Nashville really aggressively pursuing him.
Yes. I think I got another note on here. With the whole Nashville thing. Guys, you got to look at that right now on your screen. So let's just bring up on your screen. I'm just going to pull back here for a moment. Look up on the back in just a moment here. Now, take a look. In just a couple seconds, you're going to see Las Vegas. It's incredible the look of this arena. Well, it's not an arena technically. Have you been there? You haven't been there since they put that in.
No, I've never been to there. I've been to Vegas, but not there.
So I want to say thank you, first of all. So I am supposed to be in there right now, tonight, in Vegas. I got my NHL credentials to be there with one more person. I know you wouldn't have been able to make it. Lost Trucker was supposed to join me. Unfortunately, I started a new company, kind of expanding from part-time to full-time, and it's really affected everything. So I had to turn it down. But I do want to say thank you to Jamie Basco for setting that up from over at Flyers Nitty Gritty, a credentialed journalist and media guy down there in Philadelphia, who we talked about last week. So, by the way, you got to follow some stuff that's going on with him right now in Philadelphia. He is rocking it. He is pumped up because the whole thing with Mishkov. So let me just kind of get to it. I think I might have some of my stats here. See if I can actually find it. I'm not sure if this is going to be it, if we can add to our stage. Nope, this isn't the one that I wanted to go to. Here, Dan Silver. Go ahead. Are you able to read?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Michkov, drive and work ethic inside of him that maybe only the top 0.01 of athletes have. And you can just tell that he wants to be playing hockey all the time and wants to be the best player in the world. Yeah. I cannot read. Torts is absolutely going to love him. So he has zero concerns. Yeah. I can't read today. It's Friday as
yeah,
you know.
not a problem. Okay. So Bettman is stepping up right now to get this draft started. Let me just give you guys a couple things very specifically that I do want to mention about the top 15 today. So this is how it's going to work. I'm not sure what the timing is going to be. Pavel does have some other commitments, so he's limited on his timing today for what he can join us. I do want to say this is my top 15. I'll walk through it as we go here tonight. I will be on live with all of you until my top 15. So I'm hoping it's gone by 17, my top 15. Sorry, just one moment. Isn't that incredible, Mom? Isn't that like you should look in that building right now, guys? If you take a look, that is insane. that is like one of the craziest things. I think that you might be looking at the NHL every year going to this building, man. I say, why not? That's absolutely insane how they're bringing them in from absolutely. Oh, man, I wish I was there now. Okay, so this is how it's going to work, everyone. So my top 15, remember, my top 15 are where I think they'll end up in their career. So I will take a time at the end of season next week, a little bit around some of my older ones that are 10 years old that I actually talked about many years ago. But the players I have in place, I have a couple surprises we'll talk about. But what I will tell you is that is not a mock. That is not a mock that's going to happen tonight. We'll talk about who we think, but this is no sense a mock. This is who I think will have the best careers once they get to the end of their career life. So, all right, let's kind of walk. So I think we all know exactly what's going to end up happening here, bud. What do you see happening? Oh, I think you're muted again.
Of course, Macklin Celebrini is going to go first. That's pretty evident. And good on the Sharks for picking him because he's going to be a very dynamic, electric player and really making an impact. And it looks like Gary Bettman's up on stage, and he's going to really just make a difference in that franchise because Evan, as we talk about it, you need your team to be competitive and winning to sell tickets in order to generate revenue. And when you have a dynamic player like a Connor Bedard, like a Brock Faber, like a Connor McDavid, you bring people in the door and butts in seats because people want to watch. They want to watch skill. Now, his dad is from that area with the Golden State Warriors that we have talked about, so he knows what it means to come from a winning pedigree, and he's definitely going to make an impact. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else the San Jose Sharks draft and do because Mike Grier definitely is going to try to bolster up that team and give the team a chance to be a little bit more intense and physical, the way Philadelphia was last year.
Exactly.
Play against. But your thoughts on Macklin Celebrini and what he brings?
Yeah, no, absolutely, exactly here. I'm just going to switch around so everyone can take a quick peek. You guys don't want to see us. You want to see what's going on right now as we talk. I do want to bring so basically Macklin Celebrini here. Not only is he a high-producing forward, he is elite. They're calling him a franchise, not a generational. I mean, the word's still out on Bedard. They believe he's a generational. We're going to find out soon. It's really hard to tell at these stages. Franchise or generational, you are still getting incredible players. So one of the things about him is they say if he went last year, he would have went as 1B. He would have been 1B, even though he was a year out. He was a D1, 1 year out draft. Amazing guy. And they say he's more like a Jonathan Toews type of player. And he had a historical season. I just wrote some notes that even at 17 years of age, he could still be a senior in high school. Think about that. Now the other thing is over the history of the NCAA, 174 skaters have appeared in NCAA games as under 18 players. Among those, his 59 points makes him the third most productive player of his age in college hockey history. That's history. So that's absolutely amazing for a guy that is playing in a modern age where it is harder to score in NCAA hockey. And he's playing with these older guys. I really wish I could have got to see him play for Team Canada at the World Hockey Championships.
He's also a center, which are very coveted in the NHL. You know, he's at 6 feet, 197, pounds. So he still has some growing to do, but he can really make an impact. And Boston University tends to put out some pretty good talent. So I'm excited to see what he brings to the San Jose Sharks.
What he's going to bring over there, yeah.
And Zylstra is talking that she's stuck in Nogales.
She's down in the. So Zylstra, are you able to follow, or are you following the draft through our eyes here tonight? And by the way, Zil, if you want to be able to come on the show a little bit later here, I'm going to be able to set it up. If you send us your email, what I will do is I will send out an invite to your email. And then I'm not sure, maybe my partner can even help me here with some of this. But if you want to come on and chat a little bit in between the first 3 or 5. Oh, we're up to bat now.
All right.
Let's just give it a moment. They're just getting ready. They're welcoming. Greer is really boring. I like him, but he's a boring guy to listen to when you're actually watching him on the draft on the floor. So no one's clapping. No one's clapping. So he gets up there and he talks. So I know you guys are a few seconds behind on the delay. But anyway, here we go. Oh, they're bringing Thornton up. Oh, man. They're going to bring Thornton up to make the announcement, eh? That must be an exciting time. What is it with Thornton and Burns, man, and those beards? Maybe tell us about the beard power, dude.
It really brings out the best in hockey when you have a luscious beard like that, especially Brett Burns. I think it was Pat Maroon during one of the playoff series where he pulled the beard for what's it called for him. And it was interesting to see
Patrick Maroon, right, on Burns.
Burns. But yeah, the beard it brings veteranship and age and power and presence. So I love it. And I love Joe Thornton, one of the greatest to lace up the skates to never win a Stanley Cup, but an elite player. And it's great. So
wow. Macklin Celebrini is officially drafted #1 overall. So you'll have a slight delay again. Unfortunately, my TV's giving me live, and I know some of you guys are watching. This is no surprise, though, right, Pavel? We knew this all along.
Now, I will say that someone like Joe Thornton, who I know is retired now, often you bring him in like he was brought in, or Patrick Marleau to Toronto, to mentor guys like Marner and Matthews. You want that. Now, I know they have Barclay Goodrow there now in San Jose, but maybe Mike Greer looks at another veteran who's looking for a 1-year contract, 2-year contract, like a Corey Perry, like someone else. I mean, if you get Corey Perry, maybe you end up in the finals. Who knows, right?
But you might lose. So Edmonton, if they want to win next year, they're going to have to let him go.
I'm sure San Jose would love to have him there, right?
Maybe they need Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Yeah. Maybe he'll be the missing piece. So, yeah, Macklin Celebrini to the San Jose Sharks, #1 overall. I guarantee he will be playing this year, and Will Smith has signed. So you have your 1 and 2. I assume that they'll put Macklin as their #2 just because of his age, and Will Smith will run that first line. And then you got some good players like Eklund and stuff to come in. But I expect they just made a move, right? Yeah. They just made a move to move up even a little bit higher. Hey, could you imagine if they had Will stay 1 more year and they encouraged Macklin to take 1 more year just for development? They could even have a shot at another guy next year, and who knows about the year after.
That would be incredible. I mean, again, you continue to do what you can. Right?
Okay, so let
guys coming through the pipeline, like a Quentin Musty, like a Philip Bystead, right?
Yeah. They. You're right. They got some good guys that are coming through, right?
Yeah. So there's definitely some prospects coming through that they're going to be able to develop, and we're going to be seeing a little bit more of them. Definitely give them more ice time.
Okay, hang on here. I got to put this on. It says that Pavel can't read.
Yeah, that was from earlier. Yeah. Now, I will say that coming up with Chicago, after drafting Bedard last year, and of course, struggling this year, they definitely have an opportunity to be again competitive. So we'll see what Kyle Davidson does. But what is your inclination telling you, Evan, about where they're going to go? Will they go with Demidov, Yzerman, Dickinson, Totten?
Yeah. Okay. So interesting. Cam Robinson, who is a scout, works with Elite Prospects, has been saying, and he came out today, it looks like they're not going with Demidov. A lot of things are reporting. There's about 4 different reports. I was in conversation with actually a scout that's following over in the KHL and connected actually in Europe, not right in Russia, but close by, and who has views of him. Very few scouts have. He's one of those guys on the outside, not an NHL scout. But what he's actually saying is kind of the same, that there's been conversations and that he's been told around that. So it looks like they could be going with Lushunov, because they want that defenseman. They want that guarantee. Maybe is it I don't know. I think, man, getting the Demidov factor, he could be dropping 3 or 4 today, even though I definitely do believe, if you guys check out my top 15, you'll see I have Macklin as the #1 player out of this that I believe will have the best career, but I have Demidov as the second. I just think that you got 1 year to wait, but he's excited. He wants to come. He's made his way. He is in Vegas today. He's waiting. So I don't know. Or could they? What if they went off? Like, this is one thing. If they're not going to take Demidov, you know who I think they need? They should go ahead and pick up Caden Lindstrom from the Medicine Hat Tigers of the WHL, 6'3" guy, and be able to, I believe he's 6'3". I better get my facts straight here. I could be off on that one. But pick him up and then have your guy down the middle, right? If you're looking for, who do you think? Do you think they're going with someone different? What's your thoughts?
Hi.
6'4". 6'4". Caden Lindstrom, 6'4" now, man.
Yeah, Caden Lindstrom. I would say Zeev Beam could potentially be an odd pick, but to have a defenseman of that caliber come in and make an impact, I think a defenseman is what Chicago would want to go for. But that's just my prediction.
So some of the notes, if you guys notice, I have Luzhinov a little bit later. So he is a complete defenseman. I've kind of put my notes together, very physically gifted. Very easy skating stride, excellent stride. Of the defensemen, he really checks off the most boxes. So I get why they would actually want a player like this who's very mature, strong. He's really got an NHL frame already. That's the difference: strength, skating, offensive game, and the ability to defend. I just don't like his. I don't think his ceiling is as high, and that's kind of the reason that I'm not as big on him. But his 35 points ranks second among first-year draft-eligible defensemen in the NCAA in the last 3 decades. So there's a lot of talk around this, and I think they want defense over there, and they feel that they can maybe pick up or the free agency market or something. But I think this is going to be the proof, and you're not going to know for 3-4 years, but of how good is Kyle Davidson as a general manager.
Yeah. Now, Zylstra asks, so because no change in order, does this count towards the Sharks' maximum number of number 1 picks? I don't believe so. They still can.
No, that's a win of a lottery.
That's a win of a lottery. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
3 years, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah. You can only have, was it 2 within a 3-year period?
Yeah. And they had a 4th last year. So that's why I thought they have one more that they could.
Oh, no. That's only in a first, like having a first overall.
First to third. That was my understanding. It was first to third in terms of prospects. That's what Brian Burke.
Sorry. Like, are you talking about that you can only win so many, or something different?
That's maybe Zylstra can clarify, but that was my understanding of the question. Because no change in order, does this count towards the Sharks' maximum of number of number 1 picks? I don't know if she means today, like to this draft, or in the last.
It does count. It does count against it. So they only have a chance in the next few years to have one more overall.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, think of it in 2 years. Could you imagine if they got Gavin McKenna, who we're going to be raving about all next year, and he's still 2 years away.
Yeah.
And then in 3 years, we're going to get to see this coming year in the Everett Silvertips. We're going to actually make a connection with Michael Devellano, the U.S. head scout for the Everett Silvertips and also for the Detroit Red Wings. Michael Devellano's been raving about Landon DuPoint, that defenseman who has a 15-year-old coming in, exceptional status. All right, guys, Chicago is getting ready to step up to bat here. Let's see who they go.
She does mean the lottery win, and I agree. So, yeah, they only have one more chance to win, and then that would be it for a bit.
Yeah, here we go. I'm going to give you a little bit early announcement because it'll be a few seconds ahead here. Just give me a moment. Oh, they're going to have someone else. Hang on. I think John Taze is going to announce it, I bet. Oh, they're going to have Connor Bedard make the announcement. So in just a moment here, they're going to bring Connor Bedard up. I apologize. I wish that my feed wasn't 10, 15 seconds behind. I think one's a computer and one's a streaming service with a Chromecast. That's the difference with it. So here we go.
In the 2024 NHL Draft, the Chicago Blackhawks are proud to select Artem Levshinov.
I was right. Levshinov. There you go, guys. I don't think this was any secret. We kind of knew they wanted the defenseman, didn't we?
I called it.
Yeah, so now everyone's going to say Bedard was a part of this and he didn't want a competition in Demidov.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that this will be a mistake for Chicago on their rebuild. So let me just say this. I think he'll be of the top players going, but I don't see him better than a 3 or a 2 over like top defenseman on a team. I just don't see. I'm worried more around his hockey IQ. I think that he's playing above his game a bit. I think the team that he played with kind of, but you know what? Hey, good for them. All right, guys. So number 1 overall, Macklin Celebrini. Number 2, Artem Levshunov. So Leshunov is now gone. He's off of the table. So with him now gone at number 2, that moves us back. Let me just pull my notes out so I can just take all my notes and throw them out because I don't need anything on that one anymore. And let's go to some other information that we can kind of slap out here for everybody here. So this is the crazy thing. So he mentions what scares me is he might not be the best D-man in the class in 5 years. He could be a clear-cut number 2 in this class, though. Interesting. In other words, right now, today, that's kind of what is being said there by Rizzy in the NHL. So, hey, Rizzy, you got your name put out here on Two Guys in Hockey Talk. We ain't paying you no royalties, dude. All right. So here's one for you guys. Matthew says, so now let's go to Vancouver. This is something you've been talking about. We've been chatting. If they're all in on Getzel, should they be all in on West Van Sam Reinhart? I know everyone expects him to re-sign in Florida.
I think he does. I think there's rumblings that there's a deal already in place for him to sign in Florida, from what I'm hearing.
Okay, but in fairness, he's asking, right? But if he gets to Monday, he scored 27 more goals than Getzel this season, finished 4th in the Selke voting, and is coming off a cup. And I believe there's only, 1 or 2 years difference between the two? Would you think that they should go after Reinhart if they were already going after Getzel?
If they can, yeah, but I don't know if Reinhart wants to leave. That's the problem. They can go after whoever they want, but I think the problem is they. I think Getzel's staying with Carolina. They've made a push. I think there's a deal in place for 8x8 for Jake Getzel with Carolina.
So,
I'm hearing, and I think Sam Reinhart will stay with Florida. But Aaron Ekblad's name has been out there for trade rumors from the Florida Panthers.
Yes, that's true. That's true. That's that. But again, I just want to come back because I just kind of wanting to honor around the question that he had is the very thing and saying, okay, so if that's kind of what happens and it comes to the first, or Getzel gives any indication he's not signing. So it's out there. I have some notes in one of the things that was sent out already. Friedman and Merrick and them, they've already made mention. It looks like right now Carolina has a good chance that they're going to possibly, he's put out his numbers and they've been told that they have agreed to Getzel's numbers. So it looks like Getzel is staying in Carolina. Yeah. So that's the question I have, right? If he's staying there, because I think Vancouver had possibly a good chance if he wasn't moving. Yeah, but
just his relationship with Jim Rutherford in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Interesting, though. Jim Rutherford kind of helped build that team also over in Carolina, over in Pittsburgh when they won, and then he moved over. So, I know Lost Trucker, Zozil, you've kind of doubted some things in the salary cap stuff. In Jim Rutherford, you got to trust. I know it's Patrick Alvin, but he learned a lot. They still work very closely. I think he's still being mentored a lot by Rutherford through the process. So anyway, what do you think they do?
I will address that. So odds against Panthers to win the cup again, very tough. They could do it. It depends how many people stay behind, what happens. It's very hard to to repeat. Just ask Colorado, just ask St. Louis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These are a lot of teams that like to have a hard time, and she talks about weird how almost all mock tracks have fantasized Iginla as Flames pick possible. And there could be some conspiracy already according to her. But I think what happens is that there's already a deal in place from the rumblings that I've heard for
Reinhart.
From
sorry.
And
sorry, my apology. I've interrupted you a couple of times there. Go ahead. Say that again.
Sorry. My understanding is that Eric Tulsky has a deal for Jacob Slavin to stay. Brett Pesce sounds like he's going to New Jersey, that they're going to offer him a 6x6 deal because he's a much older guy. They're trading John Marino there out of New Jersey. And I think if Getzel stays, they're going to try to bolster up that front end so that they can get a bit more scoring. However, there's also talks that Timo Teravainen is going to explore the free agency market.
Wow. Okay. So the Ducks are stepping up right now for the number 3 overall pick. What I'm hearing is Zeke Buum is going to be their selection. That was what I heard a couple hours ago.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So I don't think that that's a wise choice. I know they don't want Caden Lindstrom probably because he's a center, right? And they feel that they got Leo Carlson and
and they have enough centers. They have a lot of young centers.
McCavish, right? Yeah, and Mason McCavish. They do, but you could take centers and put them on the wing, man. I'd rather take centers and move them to the wings, and have that ability to do that. Interesting enough, guys. So right now, hey, one sec. Scott Niedermeyer, they're going to invite up, so you guys can see they're going with the orange, the old traditional orange. I actually didn't mind the orange with the black. I actually like that. So here we go. Oh, whoa. They just went off the board. Okay, guys, they just went off the board. Totally. Let me grab my notes here. Now we are in for an interesting draft. Guys, they went with Beckett Zenica. Some people had him ranked as high as 11, and some people have him ranked as low as 20.
Wow, a winner.
They just took him 3rd overall.
Wow.
Let me give you, hey guy, I was ready for some of this. I do have some notes because I haven't followed as much, so I've checked with some guys I rely on. Let me give you some information on Bennick. So he is a late season riser that right now in the draft. Seneca's rise is well earned thanks to his impressive second half. It ended early, of course, because he had an injury. That was one of the things that did affect him. Unfortunately, he had a growth spurt, so he's at 6'2". Now his skating ability, he's maintained a good level of skating ability, even for a smaller player until just recently. Very dangerous. What he's like a Kyler Yamamoto, where he's a driver and aggressive off the puck. He's very exciting. And he does play a bit of a power game, so that's really cool with his growth recently. But really, that's all I got on this guy. I don't know about you, but I think Pat Verbeek is wrecking these guys. Even Leo Carlson last year. He's going to be a good player, but he is not. Oh, man. This is crazy. This is opening it up. So can I just talk to a few good friends of ours that are out there? So you know who's going to be excited right now with some of these picks I already can see? So if I think and I go out there, Jamie Basco is right now super pumped because that means you got players that are going to back up now no matter what. He's got like 4 or 5 guys at 12. So think what this does for Calgary now too, right? So now Calgary has a whole bunch of options. There's guys like Sam Dickinson. There's guys like Zane Perrick. You got Siliev, who can go as the big 6'7" defenseman over at Torpedo in the KHL. You got Caden Lindstrom. Oh my goodness, this is going to open it up. So if you're not an Anaheim fan, you're pumped. If you're an Anaheim fan, I don't know, man. Dude,
this makes me wonder if there's something in place for Trevor Zegras to be moved on from.
And but they wouldn't get a high enough draft pick to get back in.
No, but if you're picking up a winger, you got
the family right now is like almost crying.
Yeah, mom's crying.
Yeah, just like, well, you got to admit that if I was mom, I'd be like, no way, because I'll tell you guys don't probably know this, but there's different money on the line depending where you are drafted. You're a number 3 overall. You have a potential to make more money in your entry level. It's just a big difference. So he's pretty pumped right now. Can't blame the guy. So that's excellent. Woo!
Yeah, and we'll see what they do with John Gibson there in off season if they're going to move that contract finally and give Gibson a chance.
All right. So another guy to look out for a potential push up early is Zaka Boisvert. So Zaka Boisvert could be another potential guy. I did have him potentially like around number 16. Some people have him as late as around 25 with Zaka Boisvert out of Musqueam, the Lumberjacks. He's 6'2", 176, good length, excellent hockey sense. Had 36 goals this last year, really high-end shot. He could be another guy. Let me just give you a couple names that I think could potentially be drafted earlier than even some of my top 15. And I'm probably going to get this name wrong, so unless you actually know his name, which I doubt you have. So points per game, though, Seneca had a 1.57 playing over there with Oshawa. So Michael Brunzeg. So Brunzeg Nygaard playing over in Sweden. He's a right wing, so he's very physical. He's aggressive, playing with men. That's a big deal, playing in Sweden with the men over there. So he's got a kind of a middle six wing role he's probably going to slot into. And he helped them qualify for the playoffs this last year and even the men's world championships. So that's another player. Michael Haig over at Chicago Steel. Trevor Connolly could be going. And another guy, of course, was Zaka. So those are the kind of the ones that I thought could push up. But I have a feeling something's going to change. I don't know. What do you think of Pat Verbeek in his drafting?
It's been interesting so far. I mean, they're still in the early stages of the rebuild. I mean, I think they have a few more years before they become competitive in the Pacific and in the West. So I think there's still a little time for development, but it really depends on how long they go. Now, he came over from the Yzerman days out in, what's it called, in Tampa Bay. So he definitely has some experience, right, in terms of what he looks. And he was a hard-nosed player to play against, so he definitely looks for that. But I really think I got to give Anaheim a bit more time, and I think next year they're still going to be in a bit of a rebuild. I know they want to be competitive, but I think it will be 3 to 4 years before we actually see the fruits of the labor of what's been being drafted.
Okay. No, that's absolutely fair. I'm not big on it. So, so Zilster says it's weird how almost all mock drafts have fantasized Iginla as a Flames pick. I will say this, talking to a lot of the scouts, it kind of, some don't think Iginla is going to be on the table by the time the Flames are drafting. So Columbus never did trade their number 4. They're stepping up right now. Interesting. You heard the, hang on. Here we go.
The only Columbus Blue Jackets player
what's he saying?
First round pick in the 2000.
Oh, someone's going to come up and ask.
Mr. Rick Nash.
Rick Nash. Okay. Rick Nash is going to make the announcement. I actually like it, eh? Do you like that when they have someone honored?
I do. And I think they're building way or paving way for Rick Nash to be the next GM of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
From the Medicine Hat Tigers.
Caden Lindstrom, centerman, going to Columbus with the 4th overall. Great for Caden, man. Great for Caden. I'm happy for him. It's going to give him about a year to be able to kind of go back, play one more year with Gavin McKenna. I mean, he could probably make the team this year. I hope, though, that unless he knocks it out of the park at training camp, they don't,
Good.
Yeah. So
for the Columbus Blue Jackets, I mean, they did just trade today, sign and trade Alex Texier. So he's off to St. Louis. So they're definitely looking at bolstering that blue line. But again, after Jarmo Kekalainen got let go in the midseason, and with the whole controversy with the coaching, and now you have a new coach potentially coming in there. They haven't hired anyone. Letting go of Pascal Vincent, who was a good coach, but he didn't really was given an opportunity to excel with the roster and the injuries. I think that
we kind of knew, right, that where that was going to go.
I think Columbus really has to push here, but they have to be mindful because they don't want to end up in a situation where, again, they are at the bottom come January and they're struggling to make the playoffs again.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely. I'm 100% with you on that. So sorry, I'm just getting some stuff out. I got some text coming in. Okay, let me give you a little information, everyone, on Caden Lindstrom. So if you didn't know, WHL Medicine Hat Tigers drafted now 4th overall to the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think that's an incredible that pick makes sense for them, for the type of player that they need. They have a lot of European type guys. I still think Demidov is going to have the better career, but I actually had him ranked at 7. But I know a lot had him anywhere between 3 and 5 as well. So he's kind of right in that place. 6'4" right now. He was injured. I think he only played about 34 games this last year. There are concerns about his hockey sense and his ability to drive play. I got to see about 4 to 6 games online, and then I actually got to see him twice then in person. Now, one of the things I would have got 3 if he would have made it to the Oil Kings game. But unfortunately, he was injured that game, and so we didn't get to. We saw Joe Iginla. We didn't see Tej. That's where you can make fun of me because I was thinking it was Tej for some reason playing with the Oil Kings.
I still like these jerseys, by the way, for the Columbus Blue Jackets. That's why I got the Cannon. I think they're pretty solid. The
That's
other
excellent.
thing we have to decide on is Patrick Laine and what happens to him, and if they're going to trade him away. And I know that
They're
Don
trading.
was asked about Elvis Merzlikins,
Yeah.
given the depth they have in net. But who's going to take on that contract, as he indicated? So Tarasov seems like the goalie of the future. We'll see what happens. And Zylstra says Mont has to take Zemanov. Montreal is an interesting one.
So
trade away today.
This has been the talk, because there's been talk about where do they go? They passed on Mishkov. Mishkov is now coming. I mean, it's almost but certain. He is coming and going to be playing this year, only 1 year later. Demidov's already made the commitment. He's done his contract the way it works. He's actually signed only for 1 more year over there in Russia. So he'll be leaving the KHL. So they only have a 1 year wait. Was that why they pulled on Mishkov? I heard it was because of attitude. And then they were worried about character. That's a big thing for Kent. So what I'm wondering now is, okay, you guys ready though? If you think of Montreal, you think of the players they have. They have Cole Caulfield. You can go ahead and you can go grab something over here. You're not on. My mom's crawling around on the floor trying not to disrupt the podcast at the same time. Hey, if you want to get your mom crawl around on the floor, just put on a podcast and she'll try to stay out of it. But anyway, so what I wonder though, okay, this is totally off. If you're a Montreal Canadiens fan right now and you're following this, I wonder, and I see that Zill that you're talking about most Russians speak French. You can throw that up there on the piece there. Yeah. What I wonder, do they go for the Russian or do they hold off? And could they pick a hard-nosed player to play tough hockey? Because that's what they need in a Tisha Ginla and go a little bit earlier than you would expect. Montreal.
Very possible, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still wondering if there's going to be a trade happening here, but we'll see. And you look at that list there, Bolton, Byram, Lafreniere, Shane Wright, Connor Bedard.
So right? I expected trade anywhere after number 10. That's kind of I don't see it happening before the top 10. They're pretty solid in the top 12. I mean, generally that's why I go with the top 15. So some of you guys, if you see my list, let me just kind of pull up my list here. So again, my Revs top 15, just kind of got to go back here. My Revs top 15 is actually based around what I see them as having the best career. And I know this will blow some of your socks away. He started the season early at number 2, and people have moved him back as far as 14, but that's Cole Yzerman. People are talking about he doesn't have a defensive game. He's not really a team player. IQ is not as much. Jamie Bascal had an interview with him over at Flyers. They would love for him to fall back to them. But I'm telling you, I see him as the third best career. This guy's a pure goal scorer. And now, because he's not as big, but I mean, he's right up there. He's beat records like of Cole Caulfield stuff down in the United States with the development program. So, I mean, that is always a possibility. But I think Cole's going to drop just based on how people feel. Probably at minimum to like 8 or 9 if he's lucky. Maybe between 10 and 15. That could be a far drop.
Jordan, I know Montreal's about to pick, but Jordan says, leave the draft special to me because you were wrong about Yzerman. Tell him that he was right in having Lindstrom ahead of him.
Well, we'll see in about another 6-7 years who is right and who's playing a better career. So that's always the best way. Who are they going to invite?
And Zylstra says you don't really listen. I don't know if she's referring to me or you.
Oh, who are they bringing? Oh, no. Celine Dion is coming out to make the announcement. Typical Montreal. They don't pull out a player. You know why they're not pulling a player, Pavel, probably? Wasn't it last year? Casey, I was going to say Casey Treater, Patrick Waugh. Why am I forgetting their goaltender? Their all-time great. Price.
Okay, Price, yeah.
Yeah, remember he got the name wrong?
Yeah.
He couldn't remember who it was for Reinbacher?
Well, he mispronounced it. Yeah. And Jordan says, well, at least because I said he was drafted higher, goof.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think we had to get into name calling here. Is he drunk? What's happening, Jordan? There.
He said hire goof.
Okay, let's get ready. Let's hear. Celine's enjoying herself. Let's see what she calls out. Would you be excited about a Russian or a Canadian?
I would say French Canadian. Who's a French Canadian?
Who else could potentially be going here if they don't? Could they be looking at Berkeley Cat? Spokane Chiefs? No, I think they're going with them. There we go. Oh, come on. Move faster. Move faster. Oh, come on. Come on, sure. Demidov! They're doing it. They're taking the Russian. Number 5. They finally are making up for the Mishkov loss. Wow. You know what? That is a steal for Montreal, Pavel. I think he is a franchise player. He will be a franchise winger. You guys like Suzuki? You guys like Caulfield? Wait till you get a good sense in his second year. Now he's going to be like he's 2 years away. Give him his first year. I bet you he's close to a point a game. His second year, you got a guy that's going to be more than a point a game player in his career. That is incredible. So excited for Demidov too. So maybe let's kind of mention a couple things that have affected Demidov's drop. Of the Russian factor is viewings. No current NHL scouts have actually got to put their eyes on him because of the war in Ukraine and all the bans on the hockey and stuff. They can't be playing in tournaments and all the stuff going on because of the sanctions. So that has affected everything. I do find some things weird, though. The players can come over here, be drafted. We can bring them over to the AHL, but they can't play in, I don't know. Like you and I talked about this, right? With the whole Russian thing. Just don't call it Russia. Just allow at least the players that want to come over. If the country will let them go, why wouldn't you? You know, mention around that. Speaking of that, what do you think of the 6 selections for each one of the teams, or did you get a chance to see that already?
Solid so far. It's been interesting to see how people have gone, especially Anaheim, which kind of went off the board. I don't know what they're thinking there, but so far it's been good. It's been entertaining. I think it's moving at a good pace. It's been transitioning easily. They're having a little bit of media presence with big names, both in the hockey world and, with the Celine Dion. I like it. This is, Evan, as I will share with our audience, one of the biggest nights for the NHL, and they want to play this up. This is a big deal. Now, the NBA draft just happened. That's a big deal as well. The NFL draft has happened. And the NHL knows what it has here. This is a big deal for a lot of franchises, especially those at the bottom, because they're trying to change things up. So I like it. I'm looking forward to seeing how these players impact their franchises, because, again, anything can happen. And from watching enough hockey over the years that sometimes you go to a place where it's a good fit and you fit that system and it really benefits you. And sometimes it doesn't. And then you have a situation like Patrick Laine, who's looking for his third place. You're looking at a player like Pierre-Luc Dubois, who's now in in Washington at his 4th stint, versus an Austin Matthews, who, of course, one of the best first overall picks, just signed a big, massive contract for 4 years and is making an impact for that team, albeit, the Caps draft. So it really goes to show you how important it is to draft well and having a good supporting team in order to, especially later on, once you pass mark number 50, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And that you have to, because of, like you said, the cap and the issues and stuff. So, Zylstra does say, is Utah going to get Dickinson? And then she goes on and she says, or could it be Perrick? So that meaning Zane Perrick. So some people are worried about Zane just being a little bit more like Evan Bouchard was in his first year last year. A little bit less, like when Ekholm came over, he helped Bouchard in Edmonton, but Zane is definitely offensive, can put up the numbers, but is he as defensive, right? But Dickinson is out of London as well. Dickinson, I just so you guys know, I definitely think that Dickinson is going to be an incredible player. Just an
Now-
incredible player.
I will say that what scouts have said about Demidov is that he can be number one, number two offensive winger in the NHL. He's not like Kirill Kaprizov in terms of his skating
Speed.
ability.
Yeah, skating's off.
Skating is
that
a
way.
little bit off, but you can work on that.
Well,
But
look
his
at Draisaitl.
skill and competitiveness is good.
Look at Leon Draisaitl, right?
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons his first year they felt he was being held back by his skating. He got some development. He got some people to help him. And no one ever talks about his skating issue, even though he looks slow and lumbering. Mario Lemieux, the guy looks slow and lumbering, but he can move. If you have implosiveness in those first so many feet, you can glide it. And if you know how to protect the puck, that was what Yager could do.
Yeah.
The guy knew how to protect the puck, and he had implosive speed. What was it? 100 squats a day since he was 5 years old.
Yeah.
I guess when you got legs like tree trunks, like Crosby is not incredibly fast, but he's fast enough and implosive, right? So, all right, Utah's being able to. They're
Evan,
heading up.
Jordan also notes that he told you that Demidov would go higher than originally.
He's all about the "I told you so" kind of stuff, eh?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, I actually already knew that Demidov was not going to be going higher. That was not my thing. I just can't believe that they didn't take an opportunity in Chicago when they had a chance. So, but you know what? Each to their own. That's Chicago. It's the Chicago fans who have to deal with
Now,
it. So.
Zilstra says Senators could still Iginla from the Flames, and you posted just before the next draft for Utah, who is drafting their first ever pick, about Botterill as GM. But we'll get into that in just a little bit.
Okay, yeah, we're about ready to pick a pick here for Utah, which will be historic. And by the way, I did get a tweet out here while Gary's still talking. So I did get a tweet out that Utah, they are in search of some defensemen. For sure, at least one in the UF or the trade. No, they're talking now just about how excited they are to be playing. They're going to get the actual owners to actually make the announcement. So here we go. I'll talk more. You boo us and we haven't done anything, they said. That's funny. Okay, hang on here. You can tell he definitely knows how to work a crowd. Here we go. Who are they going to pick? Here we go.
Utah selects
Tige Iginla. Whoa! I told you. I told people he's going earlier. I told you. So
that's a bold
Calgary,
choice.
You are not getting Tige. So I think let's take a moment. So Tige Iginla, if you have not heard, number 6 overall to Utah. He was ranked around 15 as the season began, maybe 18. Started moving up really well. This is telling me what kind of team the Smiths want to build, where Armstrong wants to go. So anybody that's going there, you can now know they're looking for a tough power forward, kind of a Florida kind of team, I think is what they're looking for. So don't look for those high-end skill. You know the rumors about Mitch Marner? I don't think that they're going to be going there if they're going with guys like Tige Iginla.
I think Marner's staying, like I said earlier on, for one
you
more
don't
year.
You don't think that he would listen to any team if they were wanting to inquire into it, which is the rumor out there right now?
But I think he's playing out his year as a contract.
Yeah, well, why listen? Okay, but why listen if he's playing out his contract?
Utah wants to be a playoff franchise
I know.
going forward. This is
Okay.
It's not him listening; it's his agent listening, right?
Right. Yeah.
Now,
so
can I just share one thing?
Hey, by the way, did you go back to see? So Zill says, "Go Yeti." She's already. I guess she's already picked their name.
So I will say that if you want to feel old, Evan, not only is Jerome Iginla's kid in this draft, you may know that Saku Koivu's kid and Ilya Brzgalov's kid is also eligible in this 2024 draft.
That's right. I totally forgot that about this year.
So it just goes to show you how quickly time flies and how it can go by. But
wow. Okay, let's talk about Edmonton.
My one fear with Tige Iginla is that it is name recognition, and that it is a means that like he's gone high, but there could be a lot of pressure on him to perform as well as his dad, right?
Yeah, not when you're dealing with down in Utah now. I think the
No.
only place he would have felt that pressure was Calgary because of his dad.
I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Utah in their first year to be competitive, to continue to build on what they have. It's a first
with their fans, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I think their fans are going to be happy to have hockey, just be competitive of some sort, right? So I will say this about Tej. Everything he did this year made him, like, I mean, he actually, the way he played, he was a top 5, top 7 guy. The concern is his previous years, his growing curve, like his D2 year, his draft 2 year out, was not as good until he made his move. When he made his move to the Kelowna Rockets, it totally changed everything. That was the key, I think, for him. But he does. It's funny because he doesn't actually have a lot of physical edge to him, but he knows how to engage his body. And I think that's just learning from his dad, right? How do you cut the corners? How do you play the man? But he does have a goal scorer's touch. We've saw games that he was in when he was in different tournaments and with Team Canada. But he's likely going to be that winger. He's going to maximize. He potentially could be a top line winger, but for sure, he has that high end of a second line winger at minimum to be a great player, power forward in the league. So good for him, man. I'm excited.
He could turn out to be a Zach Hyman-esque kind of player, right? He can really battle, work hard in the corners, really compete, use his body, be physical. Just watch. I mean, his dad has instilled in him a winning formula and a winning culture, and I think he's going to bring that to Utah. So I'm excited for Utah.
So let's talk about what I have on the screen here for a moment.
All right.
Give me your thoughts.
So Matheson and Freeman are reporting that Botterill could potentially be the GM of the Oilers as of Monday. That's when they're potentially announcing him. Does that not scare anyone else? I don't think it scares Oilers fans. I think they're in a good place. Jeff Jackson has really stabilized. I mean, even Ken Holland did that, and he's not returning that franchise. There's a lot of good things happening with the Oilers organization. It's made a lot of money in the last few years. They've been in the playoffs for the last few years. They went to the Stanley Cup final. They have some big stars. They have some good pieces. Certainly, there's some contracts that they like off the books, including there was talk about a buyout for Campbell, but it's possible they trade him out with a sweetener. But I look at this, Evan, and I say, bring him in, let him kind of learn the ropes in terms of being able to contribute what he knows in his contacts.
Yeah,
and have him work alongside Jeff Jackson the way they're doing it in Vancouver, where you have Jim Rutherford and Patrick Albeen, a duo working together in order to make executive decisions for the organization, right? And try to make that team continually be competitive and continue to be excellent. Now, they did re-sign Calvin Pickard to a 2-year, $1 million agreement, so that's pretty solid. I'm sure Edmonton Oilers fans are happy. It just goes to show you that you do need quality backup goaltending in the regular season in order to compete, and that's what Pickard brought them. And he did save their season versus the Vancouver Canucks series in the second round. Yeah. But we'll see what happens. Your thoughts on Botterill as a possible GM for Edmonton?
I just don't see anything that he did really strong in his previous GM role. Like, I find this really kind of surprising to me. Ottawa's getting ready for their pick. I wonder if they go with Sam Dickinson actually on this case, or Berkeley Catton. But
I mean, you lost Staios. I know Staios was someone that they were considering, but he went over to Ottawa now, who's going to be picking. So
yeah,
you missed out on that boat. You did have
Sorry, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Yeah. Sorry, my main computer went down, so you guys got to give me a few minutes. I wasn't plugged in. I'm still coming through on my other line, so just go ahead and continue on. So, sorry, I missed it. Carter Yakimchuk, 7th overall from Calgary Hitmen. Oh my goodness, I just missed that momentarily. My apology with everyone. I got to say that I'm actually quite surprised at this. I did not expect that. That's a bit of a surprise to me. I was expecting
This
that.
fuels the rumors that Chikrin is probably on his way out.
Yeah, well, and I get that, but I think that they're taking that chance. I know he's a defenseman. This is a Steve Staios pick, in my opinion. Listening to those Western Hockey League scouts, with it. But I tell you, there's some. So, okay, while Jordan and a couple others are worried. By the way, can I just say I just had a conversation with Jordan and a couple of you that are all worried about Cole Yzerman. I've just had a conversation with two scouts in the NHL scouts, one European scout who has actually spent time and knows a lot more about Cole, two development coaches, and one local development coach. And they all tell me the same. People are going to be really sad that they missed out on Yzerman. So just a thought, talking to real people there, Jordan. Anyway, so here's some different guys that are going to be on the table kind of moving forward. You're going to have Adam Juracek coming up. There's still Berkeley Catton is left on the table. Anton Silyev, which is the 6'7", 207-pound defenseman. It was rumored he could be. We still got Zane Perek, defenseman, that crazy scoring guy. Constant Helenius Jokerit over in Liga, who they say is one of the best. He doesn't specialize one thing, but he has one of the best hockey IQs in every aspect of the game. You still have Z Buem, who is rumored to go 3rd overall to Anaheim. Now with Carter Yakimchuk off, you have Liam Greentree. And I mean, you think about, there are some good players out there. So if you're still coming up, like even who's up next? Seattle or who is it?
Yeah,
I don't have my
Seattle,
everything went down on
this
me.
Next. Ron Francis.
And by the way, so it kind of sounds. I'm gonna wait out. It sounds like from what I have heard that Kyler Yamamoto will not be going back to the Seattle Kraken. They won't be continuing, which is kind of sad. I actually liked him as a Kraken. I thought there was some potential, but you wonder if it's because Wright's coming in this year, right? Okay.
Thanks so much for this. Congratulations.
I'm just trying to move my stuff around. Not sure. If I do get kicked out, I apologize with some of the stuff that's coming in.
Zylstra says that I think some trades might start happening with some surprise picks, and that Calgary potentially could take Cole. Question mark.
Who could take Cole? Sorry,
Calgary.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'll tell you why. American. The whole American thing. They've been bit a few times. They've always loved Americans, but I think now with Conroy, I think Conroy is American though, is he not? Or is he a Canadian?
I thought it was American.
Okay. Yeah, I think he is. Maybe that they're not really worried about that, but yeah, it's one of those things that they talk about the Russian factor, but you also deal with the American factor now, where they don't want the hassle of traveling over the borders. That's a very common thing now that has actually happened to people, through the process. So. I'm really interested. There's a lot. This is a good draft for Seattle. They have a lot that they can actually do with this one right now, eh? Okay, I'm just kind of pulling myself back into the hunt here to kind of see. So, guys, all right. It looks like I'm back. I'm just going to pull my stuff back. Yeah. So, hey, what's your thoughts on the nations, the Four Nations Cup that's happening with some of the selections? Have you saw some of them yet?
I have. I saw the announcement of the 6 players for the 4 countries. There's a lot more countries that should be represented. I get it. I don't know why that they've eliminated countries like a Germany, like a Slovakia. I think it's silly. And I think it's just the makeup for the fact that they've missed the Olympics for so long. And it's just like, well, why would you just not go to the Olympics? That's your best on best. But
I know
what they're trying to do, but it's just I'm not a fan. I think a few years ago when they did the whole North America under 23, I like that versus Team Canada. And you're not even doing Russia, like, and I get it, but you have so many Russian players that are impactful and celebrated and recognized as great players, regardless of the geopolitical. Like, why not let Russian players play, right? Like, you're still letting them play in the NHL. What's the difference? It's all in
Exactly.
in both Montreal and Boston. So I think it's kind of a cop out. I know they're going to develop it. I know it is, but it just seems half-ass, Evan. It just it's an attempt to get money for what? For like what do you do if you're a player that's elite, like a McDavid, like a McKinnon, like a Crosby, going over to help playing elite, like a Kachuk or a Matthews, and then you see some other players on your team that can't compete, and so they're resting up, and then you got to come back to the regular season because it's in between the season. Like, if
Matty
you did
Beniers
season, that'd be great. But like,
Matty Beniers, by the way, just stepped up to make the announcement.
Nice.
Looks like. So we're gonna get ready. Here we go.
Rookie of the year, Matty Beniers.
Here we go. Berkeley Catton, Spokane Chiefs. Makes sense though. Makes sense, guys. Berkeley Catton to the Seattle Kraken. Let me give you a little bit of information that I got for you on Berkeley. I think this is a good pick. It's a safe pick. If I kind of go back into, where does it go? I'm just going to go back on my actual slide. If I do my rankings, you guys can kind of get a quick peek here. And just some of my slides are kind of going slow here. My apology. Where we go? There we go. So if you guys see where I got Berkeley. So I have Berkeley Catton ranked at number 5 is kind of where I had placed him as far as what I saw him. So 54 goals, 116 points. He has speed and he has skill. That's good. If you think he's a Ron Francis kind of a player, there's other players that have the similar traits, but he's really, really excelled. And you could tell that he's that kind of player in this modern day NHL that we believe that can do that. He is really difficult to defend. He knows how to kind of keep that puck. He's really good with knowing how to protect the puck along the boards. So he's that kind of guy that can work well on the circles by cycling, work good on the cycle. And he will not be afraid to cut to the middle. That's one of the problems I think players have. Ryan McLeod in the playoffs. That's one thing we saw at the Oilers. Could he have actually gone to the middle more, right? I know they're scared because they're going to get crushed. But he's that kind of player that will do that. And he has tenacity. There's very few holes in his game. So, man, I'm sure Matty is excited to have him. And you got Matty that plays center. And you will now have Berkeley that plays center. I know Wright's a center, but I think Wright will be moved to the wing. I think that'll help because of his speed. That moving, I think Shane Wright, if he makes it this year, maybe as their third line guy or something like that.
I think he comes into the league full time now. Yeah. I think they're gonna allow him.
I think this is it now, right? He's gonna have to make it. Shane Wright.
He's gonna get a full season try there because really he can only go back to Coachella so many times. This is
and his coach is there now too, right? With the coach there, he trusts him.
Dal Bilsma coming in and taking over for the bench there.
Yeah, Dan Bilsma will do a great job.
Hextall being let go, Hextall. And so we'll see what transpires. And Seattle is one of those teams that there's no big name stars. They're all just complementary depth players, right? They really
That's right.
Compete, so you really want to be able to, score and compete by committee, and that's what you're going to see in Seattle again, unless for some reason Ron Francis goes after a big fish, which would be great for that franchise.
Do you think he would go after a big fish, or?
If he could, yes, but I mean, maybe more defensive fish than anything else. Than offense.
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, you just brought attention to it. I mean, I don't see them doing it because he's an American. I would absolutely love it if the Calgary Flames chose to go after Cole Yzerman. But I do not see it because of the American factor. But this is what's interesting. Cole, he loves the tough game. So in his interview with Jamie Bascal at Flyers Nitty Gritty, if you guys go check it out, he actually talks about he likes the Flyers game. He likes to hit and crunch. He has no problem getting in the tussles of the battle. The reason I think that he struggled, people looked at his overall game, is because he played strictly an offensive game, but they need goal scorers in Calgary. They're on a rebuilding team. Send him back. He's going to college this year. He's going to be a BU. So Cole is he's not going to be with the national under. He's going to be playing in NCAA. Give him a couple years. The team still works on the rebuild. I mean, this is perfect. Get your goal scorer to go with the other big boys and move. But if not, I would like to see them go with Sam Dickinson. If not, those are the two players that I see for Calgary right now. On
Now,
defense, Sam Dickinson or at forward Cole Eiserman. That's my hope for them.
Now, they did trade away, what's it called? They did trade away Andrew Mangiapane. They trade away Jacob Markstrom. They are looking at potentially moving Nazem Kadri. They've been seeing if there's any interest out there. Again, after Dubois got traded for Darcy Kemper, it looks like teams are looking to see what can be done with some of these players with big contracts. To see if there be a fit anywhere. And Calgary's really going for that rebuild right now. They're really trying to rebuild, retool to some extent because they really want to take a chance. Now, it looks like Dustin Wolf.
I actually think it's a rebuild, by the way. I think Conway, they won't say it because the fans are worried about, but just like Edmonton, I think that they got to go with the rebuild. No sense trying to rebuild like or retool on the go and do it in 1 or 2 years. Give yourself 3 years to 3-4 years, right? Do it right.
So I think they've taken the opportunities that they can to make the most of it.
Oh,
and it looks like they're gonna.
Okay,
Like they're gonna try to just be a little bit under the radar before they come back.
So I wonder. Okay, this is like totally off the. If you're a Flames fan, but what if they go with Anton Silyev, who was ranked higher, 6'7", 207 pounds, right? What if they went with that?
That's
the fan
kind of player. So
here you go.
Memorial Cup champs, Saginaw Spirit, Zane
Perrick. They're going. He called him Perrick. I think it's Perrick. Perrick. He called him actually. It's Perrick. Zane. They went with Zane, guys. They went with Zane. So Zane is now taken. I had Zane at 11, is what I see. The issue that some people have with him is they're a little concerned about his game. That is who now, but we're talking. He led all the CFL defensemen in goals there with 33 and had 96 points. Good player, solid guy. Let me give you a little bit more. And by the way, he won the Memorial Cup. If you guys are not familiar with this, so you can scout a box score. That's the thing. So if we just go by that. But he is a play-driving defenseman. Here's the thing. He will sometimes overcommit. He's a Paul Coffey kind of guy, right? So he'll turn around, give up a chance, and then he'll press through and get to the other side and jump right in and kind of score. But his offensive instincts are a cut above anyone other defenseman in this entire class. That's where he has the best offensive instincts of anyone. Odds are that his team's going to have the puck a lot more often than the other team because he is an incredibly good puck handler and he keeps it on his stick. So I get this one. And you're dealing with a CHL player. You're not dealing with an American, coming out. So, yeah. So if you're a Flame fan, what's your thoughts on this? What's your thoughts?
It's a good pickup for them. I think, he seems like he's got good hockey IQ, that he can really come in and make an impact. And, he had, 33 goals in 96 points and led the OHL as defenseman. So the guy can score. The guy can chip. The guy can really play. And I like this pick for Calgary.
Yeah, this is I don't think they could have gone too wrong at this place. But taking this player, you know what this kind of tells me, though? I think that their selections would have been in their choice, Caden Lindstrom, Tisha Ginla, and then Zane Perrick. Yeah. That was kind of, I think, would have been their choices.
Fun fact, he also graduated high school 2 years earlier. So clearly he's got a good head on his shoulders.
So if you guys didn't see, so Zill's saying that she thinks some trades are going to start happening with a few surprise picks. So generally speaking, I don't know about you guys, but I get frustrated with this because I feel like there's all this talk every draft about more players and all these potential moves and all this stuff going on. But it doesn't seem to ever happen in the top 12. The top 12 to 15 are generally not there. Not many people actually do that. So.
Didn't we have a trade last year with Montreal?
Yeah. What's that?
Didn't we have a trade last year for picks? Or no, it wasn't picks. It was, or was it 2 years ago when Montreal traded away Kirby Doc and because they were picking fourth or third?
So just
first, they were picking first.
I actually, yeah. Oh, yeah. Was that last year? Man,
that was 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
3 years ago. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was just coming out of the pandemic there, right?
Yeah.
What some people say is not a pandemic, but was a pandemic.
Where they picked Uri Slavkovsky. I think it was 2 years ago, right? And then they traded away Kirby Doc in the first little bit here in the first 5.
Yeah. So just to show you, I had a good feeling, even though I didn't rank him as high as some of the others. I have Sam Dickinson as the best defenseman in this draft. I will say that I did put up a screen for you that I had prepared because I had a good feeling that in the mock draft that Zane was going to probably go in those top 10 there. So that definitely was not a far cry. I don't think that any Flame fan should be disappointed whatsoever, other than we know that a lot of them would love just for the, the memory and the nostalgia of the Tija Ginla. But I will say this. I think Zane Perrick has a better ability to be a top pairing defenseman within about 3 to 4 years than Tija Ginla has to be a top 3 forward. I will say that. So I think that it was actually a great move. And I think that Zane picks because they're going to be rebuilding that back end, right? And they don't have to rush him. They can give him another year or two to kind of play down in Saginaw. We're not down in, but over in with it. So, all right, let's go to a couple other different news that I was just going to come back on. So not sure you guys knew this. Darren Drager put out big news from the CHL and USA Hockey Nationals Team Development Program. Shortly, a creation is being made of the CHL USA Prospects Challenge. It's going to be announced in this 2-game series, and it's going to feature NHL Draft eligible Canadian players versus the top U.S. players from the National Training Development Program. So, New Jersey Devils are stepping up. Ray, what do you think, buddy?
I think they're going to go for Ziv Buium.
Or do they take Constant Helenius?
Maybe. I think they go for Buium, but that's my pick.
Hey, there you go. A mistake. He didn't say it right. Verder is going to do the announcement here. I like that. That's a good one. Verder is going to make the announcement. We're going to actually see. Here we go. Oh, there you go. Silyev, I forgot about that. The big 6'7" defenseman. They do take Russians too, right? This is good for them.
Yep.
Wow, eh? Where did I put my papers? I might have thrown his paper out for some reason. Oh, there we go, guys. Okay. So I had him ranked actually at number 10. So you guys ready? So at 10, that's in exactly where I have him ranked and where I see him in the placement. So, but 6'7", 207 pounds. He is under contract though through the 25-26 season, but that's not a problem. That's not a bad thing to be kind of ranked in that placement. That's a good thing for him. They don't need him right now. That's going to allow them a couple years, so as they go into this next season, that's going to give them 2. So he's 3 years away. Look, if you look at this guy as he gets on stage here and you can see him, we're just on a slight little delay. When you see him, this guy is like a monster and his skating is pretty good. And he has quite a bit of skill. The problem is they're expecting that he'll probably be like a 40-point guy. Can I give you a comparable what I think he'll be?
Nikita Zadorov?
No, much better than Zadorov.
I'm kidding.
I'm going to get – some fans are going to hate me for this, but I'm going to tell you that without the toughness, he's going to be a Darnell Nurse. That's what I see him. Not a Darnell Nurse contract, but a Darnell Nurse ability, which will probably be a top end where he plays like a 3-4 role on the second line. But, man, the guy's a tree. The guy is an absolute tree. So great for him, man. Great for the New Jersey Devils. And Ray, if you catch us later on, let us know what you think. Okay, so what's so Zil, you're asking some more questions here. What are they going to do with their second first? I think this is where I think they're going to go with a defenseman. I think that. So what is their pick coming in at? I don't have the order in front of me. My computer went down. So if you guys have the order in front of me, that's the problem, man. All these trades keep happening, and then I have a hard time being able to keep up unless I have all my notes in front of me.
They're at number 14.
Okay, yeah.
So they're a few more away.
Yeah. So they're a little bit away. So a couple things are they're not looking for guys to move in too quick, but they are going to want some mentors, so they don't want to put too many new guys in. So even if they picked up, so I think if they were going with anyone, these are the potentials. So obviously, I could see. So here's the thing: if he slips that far, definitely Cole Yzerman. But I can tell you, Philly is all over Cole Yzerman. So I cannot see it's either they'll take Yzerman or they're going to take Buhm. So that's where I kind of see. But this is what I wonder: Constant Helenius, all around guy, already playing with men, could come over early. He could come over right now from Jokerit. So if he's still there, I mean, his rankings have been generally within the close to that one or two earlier, unless Consta goes in the next one or two around those numbers. So that's what I could see with the game. So who is up next? Do you have the numbers in front of you?
Yes, it is Buffalo. And then
Buffalo.
We've got Philadelphia.
So do you think Buffalo goes with defense or offense?
I think they go with offense. They've got enough D on the back end there.
Great point. Maybe they're the ones that go with Buhm or Helenius, right? And maybe if you go with Buhm, he's going to go back to the University of Denver. But some had him ranked a lot higher. But think of Quinn Hughes, Adam Fox, Cale Makar, kind of how they commanded the league. And that's kind of what Buhm has done as a defenseman. So that's why I can't see him going in, like you said, defenseman. So Consta would make sense. You kind of wonder. So, yeah, I think Seneca is really the only real surprise, major surprise on the board that has come in, which was Pat Verbeek. So he's the unique one this year, eh? So I'm not sure what kind of happened on there. I see that my where does it go?
Oh,
I'm just going to pull my
Jose is on the clock. Did they move up? Did I misread?
Oh, okay. Well, if they're on the clock.
Oh, yeah, they're on the clock.
They're going for Yzerman or Helenius
one.
Or Dickinson. Here we go.
For some reason. Sorry.
There you go. I called it. Dickinson. Dickinson is going to San Jose.
Sorry,
Sam Dickinson.
It looked like from my NHL draft that I had on here.
Oh,
this showed.
This was the trade. This is the trade that just happened.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it would have been. Okay, no, that's fair. If I'd known it was them, I would have called it on the Sam Dickinson thing. So You know what? That is a great player for them. Guys, so if we go back and I kind of show you on my marks here, you're going to see I have Dickinson as the fourth best player. I think he is the number one defenseman in this. I like him. Dickinson is an incredible player. He has incredible edge. He plays a great all-around game. He's one of those shifty players that are out there, but I think a lot of times when you come from London, it's like Evan Bouchard dropped. He dropped to 10 because he played for London. When you play for London, they go, oh, they're so offensive. By the way, which tells me I still think Edmonton, if they're smart, they go grab Mark Hunter as their next general manager. He's run an incredible franchise and one of the best franchises in history.
If he wants to leave, that's
man, how would you not want to go to Edmonton and work with superstars?
You're happy where you're at. You're happy where you're at.
No, he's been wanting to be an NHL GM. He had his hat. He interviewed previously when was supposed to interview when it was what's his face Ken Holland, who now is officially out. I don't know. I think you mentioned that at the top of the hour here.
Yeah. And he will weigh his options to see what he does. But yeah, good for the San Jose Sharks.
Dude, did you realize that we are an hour and 24 minutes into the show already?
Yes.
So, guys, I just want, if you're checking in here on our Revs Top 15 that I actually have here, my Revs Top 15 is based on how I see them falling out in their career. This is not a mock draft. Different drafts are different. For example, Craig Button, he puts his out. He says within 5 years, this is how he sees his team. I do it based on a career. And I do a top 15 because generally after 15, you usually don't find, it's like usually separation starts between 11 and 17. So I've generally put that 15 together. Zach Boisvert would have been the other guy that I put in here, but obviously Benica got drafted 3rd overall. So, and that's to me, I think the only surprise here is Benica at 3. So, okay, so let's go to a couple other points that I got up on my list here that we can have some conversation around while they're still guys, let's go back. Maybe let everyone know a little bit. I'm going to go grab some stuff, talk a little bit about our guys, and I will be right back. I just want to set up our feed again here.
Sounds good. So we have Penny Billionaires, who are our intro singers. They do a great song, Invincible. You can go check out Intoxicate, their album, wherever you get your music from. They're a great duo from Arizona. They do great music, and we love hearing them, and we appreciate their sponsorship and partnership. We also have our website at JR Web Designs. If you need a website completed, they do great work. Go check out JR Web Design. And we also had partnered up with Kalkaska Battlers, who did some hockey. Now they are disbanding, but they were a great partner, and we appreciate everything they've done, and they are some great elite hockey. So thank you again for the Kalkaska Battlers. We are getting into the Philadelphia Flyers, who are on the clock to picking their draft pick. They've got a minute and some left, and they've got some good pieces coming through, including, as we've talked about, their what's it called? Their pick Michkov coming in next year and potentially making an impact. So there's definitely some other questions. What will happen to Travis Konechny with his contract? Because it's going to be a big one. How will the goaltending shape up after everything that's happened with Carter Hart? I believe they put a Cam Atkinson on the buyout today, who could be a good pickup for a lot of teams for a depth veteranship leadership team. But it'll be interesting. And Zilstra writes, Phoenix raised from the ashes. Marilla fiasco should be called Firebird. It's funny because he still owns the Tuscan Roadrunners, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens there.
That's a good point.
Didn't want to do much there. That is going to be the AHL affiliate for the Utah potential Yeti or Utah Hockey Club. So we'll see how it goes. But it'll be interesting to see how they develop. Now, the Philadelphia Flyers, again, some questions. They were very competitive all the way to the end until they kind of lost steam and gas. And it looks like they gave all they could, but they just could not compete for a playoff wildcard spark. They really just lost it. But they have a good future there. And Danny Briere has been very aggressive. There's been rumblings that he wanted to move up in the draft. Clearly, he has someone in mind that he really wants to pursue. And we'll definitely see what this team looks like. We'll follow up with Jamie Bascott in the new season 5.
What's Silster talking about Reno? Is this something I haven't heard that just came up in the last day or two, or is this a guess?
I don't know about the moving Roadrunner to Reno. I haven't heard anything about that as of today, so maybe that's something new.
Yeah, because there is a deal in place with Tucson for their arena and stuff like that. That would be very costly, for the team. So, yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't heard that, Zil, so I don't know if you just had heard that or it was an idea that you actually had around stuff. So Philly's on the line here. They're coming in number 12. They're getting ready to go. I do think they go with Cole Iserman, who this is going to be. Can you imagine? Cole turns out to be an incredibly, even at 12, he is a steal now. You cannot lose on this guy at number 12. They got Miskov fall in their laps. So if they have Mishkov come this year, say you're 2 years away from Cole Iserman. I mean, wow. Philly, Danny Briere is doing a good job in Philly. If you're a Flyers fan, you got to like some of the moves that you're seeing right now.
Zylstra indicates that, Morello is building a 10,000-seat arena 3 years at most Tuscan. I have not heard this, so this must be news. So.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That doesn't even make sense, actually, Zill, because Craig Morgan had just talked about he's going to be walking away from his opportunity even with the NHL. That's all falling apart on him. So he's probably going to have to sell off on his AHL team because there's going to be some contractual stuff. So maybe I don't know about that because the arena, of course, deal fell apart because he made a mistake on some of his stuff. I go figure. But anyway, maybe you have new information we're not hearing.
Or is there a trade coming in, or what's going on? It feels like there's a trade happening because they should have picked by now, shouldn't they?
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. Oh, could this be a trade? So we know that there's some teams leery of Cole Iserman, and there's lots that like Zeev Buim and Konsta Helenius. I believe Konsta Helenius and Cole Iserman are the two players that they would be looking at right now. Let me just take a look at my numbers. I can't see them going for Liam Greentree right now. He's one of those offshoots. And there is Adam Jiricek, but he not yet. No, looks like there is a trade about to be announced here.
Called it.
This is going to be interesting. How far are they trading? One player, two back? What's going to happen here? This is a Daniel Briere, man. Or is this a real player that's going to be moved out? Could we be dealing with? Wow, I got to tell you, man, every time I look at this arena, I'm like, this building, I'm like, I wish I had been there.
It looks really good.
Oh, that would be like, could you imagine if we got down there? Guys, next year we're going to be taking up a GoFundMe so you can help us get down there. Let's see if it, I could see them being there at the Sphere again next year, making this. Looks like St. Louis might be in on this deal. This could be a St. Louis. So we're saying, so Philadelphia, trade alert. Here we go. It's official. Something's coming down. Okay, guys, I'm going to kind of get a little quiet here so I can actually hear what's happening. I'll walk you through. Oh, Batman's excited to announce the trade. Pick number 12 from Philly to Minnesota. For number 13, they're dropping one. And a third round for next year's third round.
Oh.
So they're moving up only one, Minnesota is. Minnesota's on the clock. I'll tell you, I think they're going for, they're taking Buim or Helenius. Buim has dropped compared to some different mock drafts. So I wonder if they're going for Buim. And he's American, right? Defenseman. They want defensemen. So remember when we had on our show just the Bar Down Beauties, when she came on and she was talking, she was telling us about that. So Kirsten was saying that defensemen, right? They might be looking at. So this will be good for you, Minnesota Wild fan, getting some excitement like Bar Down Beauties has been looking for. So they'll have some talk here today. You can probably move over there right now and check out the Bar Down Beauties. Check them out on X or over on their podcast page. I'm sure they're doing it live right now because there's no way I see them taking Cole Iserman. Either that or they thought it was worth the extra draft pick to drop. But I don't know about you, man. I do not go for a third round draft pick to move up unless I'm guaranteed my player I want is still there, right? But this is interesting. If it was me, if I was them right now, they need players now, not in 2-3 years. I would take Helenius. That guy can do everything. He would be a perfect two-way player, 200 foot. I mean, this is a guy that can probably play a lot like your Ryan Nugent-Hopkins kind of style, kind of switchblade player, knife, right? You know, and everything. And see, so, but here's what's interesting. So they're not actually moving very fast to get up on stage for guys that knew. So are they just trying to do some drama for us, or what are they trying to do here?
I think so. I think they're just dramatizing this, but I think they know who they want.
They already have an idea who they want. So there you guys go. Tyler Myers signs a 3-year extension with the Canucks. He's carrying a $3 million average. I called it months ago, or not months ago, but about a month and a half ago. I know some of you didn't like the idea, but that's a great price, Pavel. I know they're going to talk in a sec here, but that's a great price for the Canucks to get Tyler Myers signed up. You can put him as a.
And they re-signed Dakota Joshua as well, so that was a good pickup.
Bill Guerin, he says this place is pretty cool. Okay, here we go. Minnesota's supposed to set up. Here we go. You're ready to say it. There you go. Zebulon. I called it. It just seemed like that's where they're going. They want that defenseman. That's what they were looking for. And that's what Bar Down Beauties told us, right? And Zeb was ranked a lot higher in most people's drafts. So I can see why they went with that. Good for Zeb. I think that's a really good move. Okay, hang on. Give me a moment. I took his page and I threw it, so I can't give you the stats on him. Give me a moment here.
Good for Minnesota for picking him. Plus overall, 50 points, 11 goals, assists in 42 games in the NCAA. Way to go.
Yeah, so where you go? So again, he's another guy that skyrocketed in the draft this year. But I have one of the things about him is his hand skills. They would be considered dynamic. His ability with his hands and the stick, really good play. Excellent with his skates and like his feet positioning, and he creates great space for a defenseman. Very important to know how to create that offensive zone space, and he's very good at walking the blue line. I can see how that could work really well. That was something Matt Dumba was actually good at. It's just that he was a bit of a defensive liability sometimes going for those hits. And then as he was getting older, he kind of aged out a bit. But he definitely had a quick jump. But they are comparing him, not on the high end, but to kind of be maybe a kind of a poor man's Adam Fox, Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes kind of a player, kind of in that kind of a size range. So you know what? Good for them. I'm happy for you, Minnesota Wild fan. I think that's a great move.
100%. And the one thing with Minnesota is we know they're against the cap, and they got to find cheap, young players coming in who can really be effective and make an impact immediately. That is what they want. They can't afford any big contracts. They extended a few guys, and they really want to be competitive. Although they didn't make the playoffs this year, I could see them really being competitive next year. Marc-Andre Fleury potentially returning one more year. You got Marcus Foligno, who's a great leader. Kirill Kaprizov, who's made that state of hockey super fun and exciting. Matt Zuccarello, a very young and agile player. Not young, but a very active player. And he can really, really put the puck in the net. Although, again, he's getting a little older. So there's definitely room for making a push. And Minnesota definitely has to compete in a very competitive Central division.
Yeah, well, and elite level contracts are so important nowadays, right? That's one of the things that are super important. So, okay, so just so that we get it, I know Zill wants to make sure to get her kudos in. She wants to let us know that just like Jordan, she called it. Go figure. Look at these regulars, eh? They just want to let the whole world know that they called it. There are insiders today, brought to you by Penny Billionaires, the Hard Rock Fuse electronic band that is our opening intro.
I already promoted them, but sure, do it again.
Well, they're out of Arizona, and now that they've lost the Coyotes, I felt like they need a little bit more promotions around it. So Darren Drager on TSN Radio, that was early this morning, said that he had heard that anywhere from 75 to 90% of the top pending UFAs have locked down their next destinations. That's scary. what are they going to do about this kind of a thing? That's almost kind of a ridiculous thing that they're dealing with now. No.
All right, I'll come in and take this thing off the rush. I'm a defenseman. No, I'm not.
It's tough, right?
Thank you very much. The 50 points this year.
Yeah. So Z Buim is just showing up now on the TV. They're letting you know Sportsnet. 50 points. Cale Makar had 49. Adam Fox had 48. That's just showing you some of the groups that he's in. But hey, Brendan Smith, who didn't make it as big, had 52 one year. So don't always read into the analytical numbers, right? Yeah. They don't always translate really well. Another thing saying, guys, so we only have UFA free agent frenzy happens on July 1st. We are going to bring you one more show next week, our very last of the season. Make sure you pass it on. Be with us for 7 p.m. or check it out after. Share. If you haven't followed, go follow us on Facebook. We'll keep updating a bunch of stuff there and our X feeds, Instagram. Go to our YouTube channel. We're going to try and get up some more shorts now this year, and go over to twoguysinhockeytalk.com. We're going to be doing a full update. That's my big job this summer, to get all the updates, and we're going to be working. If you're interested in writing, you have an interest, we're looking at people to take on writing. We do have certain criteria that we're going to be looking for. We don't want you to pretend to be an insider, but if you like to write and you have opinion, long as you say it's an opinion and you don't act like you have something going. So we've had some bad experiences in the past, and we want to make sure we don't have those again around those types of things. So, but guys, so yeah, definitely check things out. We'll definitely appreciate anything you can do to kind of support us. But I do want to mention as we come into next week, we're going to put a lot of focus into it, but I've already got about 4 or 5 people lined up for next September and October. We have a bunch of different, again, we're going to come at you with different people, super fans. We got more writers. I have people calling me. We didn't get Perry Pern on, which we had planned to do. That didn't work out as we had. We had Don Hay. We had lots of coaches. So anyway, Philadelphia is getting ready to come up now, which I think is Cole Iserman for sure. If not, it'll be Constant Hellenius. Where I don't know. Do you have any idea which way you think they go?
It's hard. I think they want more wingers. I think that's what they're kind of going for, and so that's what I see them potentially picking.
Okay. Well, that's Cole then, if that's what it is, left wing. Here we go.
Special guest to make our selection.
Special guest to make the selection.
Proud Philly native in Hall of Fame.
Here we go.
Boxing announcer.
Michael Buffer. Oh my goodness, guys. So Michael Buffer, if you guys don't know him, he is the Let's Get Ready to Rumble. I wonder if that's what they're going to do. That is so cool. You got to admit that's a great idea.
Seems like almost every team has a guy coming up or a celebrity, as I indicated, to announce the player they're picking.
Here we go. What's he going to say? Yeah. Wow.
This year's season playoffs and the fantastic 7-game World Championship Stanley Cup.
He's just got that voice, that kind of stands through above everyone else.
That is
oh my goodness. Oh, he's got like a little. You see how he's got his little booklet that he's kind of reading from? Oh, come on. Okay, here we go. From the hometown of Philadelphia. There you go. There's his rumble. You got to love it, though. You got to love it. Here we go. Guys, get ready. The 13th pick. Here we go. It is. Here we go. I was right. No. What? What? They took Luchenko. Oh my goodness, Briere went off. Okay, I love to know what's going on right now in Flyers fans' minds, because this was no wonder they went back. They knew they took Jet Luchenko. Jet Luchenko, folks. I don't even have Did I even pull any information out? There's always someone that's doing this. Okay, what do I got here? I'm desperate here, trying to figure out.
5'11", 187 center. Played for Guelph in the OHL.
Yeah. 74 points. You're taking a guy 13th overall. Oh my goodness, what are they doing? Here, let me.
Center too. That's gonna play.
Yeah. One, I get that, but okay. Let me go in. I'm going to do some quick research for you guys here.
Evan. A lot of the times it's not even just the name of the player and how they perform. It's also the off ice.
Yeah, I know, but the off. Okay, so guys, he's been ranked consolidated 22nd, 31st, 19, 18, 30, 29, 21, 18, 32, 36, 20, 14, 44. They just stuck out. So Bob McKenzie, who has all the scouts and he gets information from them, had him at 19. Craig Button had him at 18. Elite had him at 34. Just trying to look at some of the daily face-off, had him at 36. Sportsnet Costantino had him at 24, and Dover Prospects 29. I'm just telling you, if I'm a Philly fan, I am really disappointed with this first overall. I am shocked. They have just floored me. I cannot believe this, Pavel. As a guy who likes the Philadelphia Flyers, this is kind of like, so who's their goalie? I know Dylan has been all over their goalie. The Dylan Robidide, I think is his name, that does stuff for the Flyers. If you're following Dylan, my apology. They have a goalie that came out of Brandon. Do you remember that one? I know our agent Daryl Wolski liked him, the goalie. But I struggle. What was his name?
Fedotov? Ivan Fedotov?
No. He was a young goalie in development right now that they're all talking about. I thought his name was Carter something. I'm just trying to remember a young goalie. But anyway, he didn't have good numbers. He picked up a little bit after a trade. But they're all over him as I don't think he's going to get past the ECHL. He'll be lucky to be back up in the AHL. It just like they made some really bad selections and picks in the last couple of years, and Mishkov fell to their laps. And they have a guy sitting there and Cole Eiserman. Maybe they're not doing it, but how about Constant Hellenius, an all-around guy?
Do you mean Carson Banyanson from the Brandon Wheat?
Yes, that's who it was.
Jornanson.
Yes, Jornanson. Yeah, I like the person, but I don't like what he's going to bring. I just don't think he has it to make it, even as an AHL goalie. Constant Hellenius, Liam Greentree still sitting there. Adam Jarachek on defense. Oh man, I'm just, who's some of the other guys that you could even take? Michael Brunzeg, Nygaard, you could take from the Michael Haig, Trevor Connolly, who's right up there. Zaka Boisvert, who's very good as well. This is an interesting take. So, all right, well, it is what it is, man. And the Flyers have gone off. I feel like this, though, it's about as much as the Anaheim deal here with what they did. So, all right, let's go back and look at a few different things. Where we go here? Oops, I'm just trying to move ahead one more here. All right, I think we have it. I'm just going to pull it up here. I just wanted to just bring up a mention here earlier on Caden Lindstrom. So Cam had put up a place. If you haven't followed Cam Robinson with Elite Prospects, guys, I've been trying. Cam, if I doubt you're watching this, but if you are, I've been trying to get you on for about a year. You got promoted. I think you got promoted because I've been trying to get you on here. And, of course, the hockey gods knew anyone who we promote gets promoted. That's just the way it works in the hockey world. But, Cam, we'd love to be able to get you on. But if you have not followed this guy, excellent. Follow him on X. He's now doing a lot of the advertising and stuff. Incredible guy. He has different takes. I don't agree with everything he's got, but he's really good at breaking everything down. So make sure you follow Cam Robinson and kind of follow some of the stuff that he's doing, man. Okay. Hey, while we're waiting now on, because it's going to slow down a little bit. I'm not sure. What time do you have available till?
Just a bit more. I know we're getting into the second hour here.
So I think I got what? 1, 2.
Are we going up to 15 or
3,
more?
Yeah, well, I got 4 guys that still got to get drafted before I step out and call it a night here, guys. So I will be here with you even when my buddy here has to leave. So, and I will keep you going. But yeah, let's come back. The pick is in. Oh, Buffalo's ready to go up.
All right.
So we're ready. It's
Well,
funny how
they need scoring. They need scoring in Buffalo, Evan.
Yeah. Well, they lost Casey, right? Casey Middlestack. They traded him out. And you said, well, if not, they can go with Consta. That would be still a fairly good pick. But I think they go Cole. Let's do it. Lindy Ruff is up, head coach. He's going to call me. Here we go. Is he coming from Eucrit or from the USTP? Here you go. Consta Hellenius. Good pick. You know why? He's ready right now.
Yeah.
I could see Consta coming over to the team. Good on him. I had him ranked at 12, so going 14th overall, very close to the placement that he was already in. So if you guys, he is a talented two-way forward. He doesn't have height. He lacks some height, but he is strong. He can perform at high levels already against pros at 17 years old. He had 36 points. So it was around 0.7 some odd. If you think about it, in Liga with men, he's a 17-year-old boy that's able to play. And it's really his stock really raised this year. He is aggressive defensively, excellent distributor. So think of Anton Lundell. You got a player like that with higher offensive upside, though, and even a little bit better on that defensive game, and probably a little tougher. He just lacks the same kind of height. But this is a key. High hockey sense. Guy's got incredible, and so watching him in Liga, I think I watched about 5 games where I got parts of the games. By the way, nothing like watching games in Finland and see him cutting out and out all the time. And then checking in on the highlights afterwards, because it's always usually an after game. So you know those days when you wake up at 3 a.m., you're like, I can't sleep. It's like, oh, I think I can catch a Liga game with it. So good for them. Buffalo, I think that's a safe pick. Okay, let's take a minute. I wonder if I can pull my stats up here. I bet you I put it upstairs, so I don't think I'll have it on a different computer. I'm pretty positive. I have it on a different one. So I did a number. I know a lot of people like to talk about teams and they say, oh, look how high Edmonton picked for so long. And they go on about stuff. Do people recognize how many top 15 picks that the Buffalo Sabres had over the last 20 years?
Yep.
We're talking, ready? 16 or 17 top 15.
Wow.
That is insane. And so you're talking, of those numbers, they're hitting 50% of those players. That is not a good statistic when you're looking at players having a 35% chance of having 300 or more games in the first round. And in the top 15, you have a 67% chance of being able to, generally speaking. So, yeah, so that's been an interesting thing. Where do you see them going this year? Like what?
It's tough. Oh, Evan left me. It's tough because the problem is that Buffalo has everything it needs to be competitive.
Yeah.
Goaltending is their biggest factor. They let in a lot of goals this year. It's not a problem of them being able to score. Tage Thompson really has emerged. Dylan Cousins has taken really on that second line center role. They have some young players that have really come in and made an impact. But if you can't keep the puck out of your net, and they've gone through a few different goaltenders, Devin Levi's there, and he has a bright future there. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, which one of my favorite names in the NHL. Eric Comrie was there a little bit back. If you can't keep the puck out of the net, Evan, and you have players like Dylan Cousin and Rasmus Sandin who are elite defenders and really coming into their own.
Well, don't forget
Owen Byram, coming in.
Owen Power. You didn't even mention Owen Power, the big guy, right?
Oh, I did say Owen Power. I said
I
Owen
didn't hear
Power.
it.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't hear it.
And so essentially what it comes down to is you got to keep the puck out of your net, and then you can compete for a playoff spot. The problem is that Atlantic division. It is a death sentence. You've got Tampa, you've got Toronto, you've got Boston, you've got Florida, the Cup champions. You've got Ottawa making a push. You've got Detroit making a push. You know, like who are you dropping out of? Who's coming out of that league? Even if there's 5 teams going, who's coming out? You know what I mean?
You talked about 2 players specifically.
Yeah.
Alexander Barkov.
I think Buffalo. I feel for the fans because that's what now 12 years out of the playoffs. Like it's been a while, and that city does deserve it. The league is a better place when the Buffalo Sabres are in the playoffs. But I wonder what can they do in order to be effective. Now we have the Detroit Red Wings, who are also in that division, coming up for their draft pick. What will Steve Yzerman do?
Well, this is it, man. Yzerman's going with Yzerman. Do you remember we joked about this at the beginning of the year? Could you imagine if Yzerman? I know it sounds funny, but okay, so this is what I'm going to say. Yzerman is really good. Like he finds players that I would not realize, and he'll go off the boards on players. I don't know how he finds his guys or what he does. This is what I'm going to say. I feel like the information I've got from different scouts out there throughout the year, and some of the ones that I trust, that's why I have him ranked in what his potential could be. However, if Yzerman passes on Yzerman, I might start really worrying about my pick at number 3. But if Yzerman takes him, I'm feeling very confident about my selection, where I still place him and what he could have as a career, especially playing for this guy. So if not, who else is he going to go for? And he does go off. Adam Jiricek, he could go with the defenseman. He could go with Liam Greentree. But let's check and see what he goes with here as the Red Wings come up. Nicholas Lidstrom, I believe.
Legend of the game.
4-time Stanley Cup champion, 7-time Norris Trophy
Here we go.
winner, Hockey Hall of Famer, Vice President of Hockey Operations.
Who's he talking about?
Nick Lindstrom.
Oh, he's getting Lidstrom to do it. Yeah. Okay. I was just making sure. I didn't know if that was. Here we go. Who are they going to select? Wow. What? Michael Bransick-Nygaard. I mentioned him earlier as a potential. Well, Yzerman usually knows something. I'm getting a little nervous about my pick, but I'll stick to my Yzerman. Someone's going to get it. At this stage now, you can't lose on him. Okay, guys. Michael Bransick-Nygaard from Mora. He's been playing in Sweden. He is a purely he is a very competitive player. As in some of my notes, he has a lot of ways he impacts games. So he's physical. He's aggressive on the forecheck. Really tricky player to play against. He has a strong contribution offensively. He likely slots more into a middle 6, so like bottom, not like top 9 or top the second line kind of area. But he has been performing at a very high level, both in what they call the Allsvenskan qualification rounds of the men's world championships. So, I mean, just seeing what he's been able to do playing over in Mora has been quite amazing. So some people had him ranked as high as 15. And then other people had him ranked around 20. But,
Fun fact, first Norwegian player ever to be drafted in the first round, Evan.
Wow, eh? Yeah. Interesting.
Good for
Isn't it crazy? Yzerman finds people all over, eh? And at different placements. Like, even like everyone knew Lucas Raymond would go higher, but not as high as he went.
Well,
and he turned out good. And who was the defenseman?
Moritz Seider.
No one would have probably taken him that early with it. So
and Moritz Seider and Lucas Raymond are both due for a pay raise soon. So I know that there's some cap going to be alluded to them. There's been some interesting signings last season for the Detroit Red Wings, and I know they're also making a push, or they were making a push for Gensel. But they definitely want somebody more impactful. Now, I know they brought in Kane last year, and he looked pretty good after his hip surgery, but I really think that, again, like Ottawa, like Buffalo, Evan, like someone's going to be competing for that. So You tell me who's dropping out because I'm not calling Boston out again after I did the last 2 years. Who are you calling out? Toronto's are they getting out? What's happening there? Tampa Bay are they slowing down with Hedman and Vasilevsky now? Stamkos may be out. That's
Stamkos is gone. He is gone.
Oh, you think so? Okay.
Yeah. I trust American Friedman. I mean, they're probably the most plugged in men in the business. To offer him $3 million a year is a massive insult. The guy is more than a point a game player still.
He brought your franchise 3 cups.
Well, what they're saying is it was 8 years, so he'd still get paid, right? Well, I'd rather go play. He's got cups. I'd rather go play for, say, $5 million for 3 years and make 15 right away. And I'm guaranteed if I want to retire because I'm struggling and you know what? I think there's a part of he was their franchise for so many years. So when I look at that, I think they're falling off, by the way. I think they'll be competitive like Toronto's competitive in regular season. But I think that their time's going to run its – they're going to try, but they're going to be seen for what it is. That's just my opinion, of course. That's probably not our buddy Sean Firey's opinion, who is a longtime fan of the team, with it. So excellent. But here is here is something interesting. Could Stamkos sign somewhere on a Stanley Cup contender?
Nashville.
Okay,
Nashville.
I know they're talking Nashville, but Nashville is not going to win a cup. Why would you go unless you think Nashville can win a cup?
With the right pieces, if you make the playoffs, it's possible.
Wow. I'd like to see anyone that thinks every team is possible. Toronto could win the cup, dude, more than Nashville. There's no way. Like, Nashville has to get by Vegas. They have to get by Colorado. They got to get by Edmonton. They got to get by Dallas and potentially even Vancouver in the future here, right? I just can't see them being competitive enough. So I don't believe in the rumors unless that's the highest paid offer and he wants to go out with some big money over a 3-year contract or a 5-year contract that they're willing to do. Let's go to Nashville in just a moment when I say this, but what if could Dallas, Vegas, Edmonton, Colorado, could one of them afford a $5 million times 3 contract?
Vegas, is always in on every player. For sure, Dallas, but I mean, they're against the cap with some of their guys, including Jamie Benn.
Sutter's being bought out, by the way.
I know, but you still got to.
No, you're talking Dallas. Yeah,
Dallas. But they want to re-sign Tanev. That's the big one in Dallas, right?
Yeah, I think it'll happen. I think they'll get
and you know who's away again from next year from being re-signed? Jay Gottinger and Jason Robertson. So you got 2 big names coming out here that need to be re-signed, and these are big players and Keystone franchises. Now, of course, Pavelski retiring, that'll clear up a little bit of cap, but you got to sign Ottinger to a big deal.
Yeah,
that's going to be tough for them to do.
Ottinger's probably going to go up, $3 to $4 million.
So one team that I think sneakily could go after him and he can make an impact for it, Utah.
Okay.
Look at Utah.
St. Louis is stepping up.
All right.
They're going with Jaracek, Greentree, or Yzerman. That's my.
They need scoring. They really need scoring.
Well, then they're taking Yzerman.
Yeah.
Adam Jaracek, defenseman. There you go. Hockey Club B-Zone.
St. Louis really does love their defenseman.
Yeah, don't they? Eh. So what is this? That's the 16th overall that we just completed. Adam, okay, guys, I'll give you a little bit of. So Adam, if you guys remember, I think it was it not Columbus? His brother went to. So a little bit about him. He was injured this year, so it was a lot harder to assess his game. By the way, I believe Washington is going to be up next, and you really got to wonder if Washington takes the goal scorer because they're going to be looking for someone to be coming in there. Because now, at this stage, it's interesting. I was told look for Yzerman. He could go as high as 10, or he could drop as low as 20. Interesting enough. But can I just say this? If Cole Yzerman drops past Washington, you know who's up? The Chicago Blackhawks.
Ooh.
Could you imagine if they got Cole Yzerman on top of the fact they got Lushunov earlier and they still get their goal scorer.
Wow.
Now, he is a left wing, but that could be a left wing to go with Connor Bedard later on, though, too, right? So, Adam Jurczyk, where does it go? So, great mobility I have, good puck moving. He is 6'2", so that's going to be a benefit, but it's a lot of projecting. I see that, I think he's got some high-end ability, but it's a bit of a guess, so I'm not sure where their assessment's coming from that they're feeling that at this stage at the number 16. But, kind of at this stage now, we know that we have so I have 2 guys left on the board that I have in my top 15, and that's Liam Greentree and Cole Yzerman. Otherwise, all my other guys are now off the board in my top 15. So we'll kind of see who's there. And then, did I already send my papers? Let's just see where we went here. The other guys that you can look for, I just want to give you a reminder, is potentially Michael Haig, the Chicago Steel. He really picked up his game starting in early January, and he's excellent at challenging defenders, the centerman. Great at the 101. Think of how Connor McDavid likes to go through people. Well, Michael thinks he's Connor McDavid. He's always trying.
Trying is not the same as doing, but
well, he was 4th in scoring, as a draft year. So, Trevor Connolly of the Tri-City Storm, he would be a top 15 discussion on talent alone. But now here's the thing with Connolly. Connolly's stock has dropped massively. They said he could have went as high as 8. So he has had some off-ice issues that have been a concern. There's been stuff about what he said, who he's hung out with, the things that he's done. He's gone and tried to make it right in a lot of different places. But unfortunately, because it is what it is, they're always going to put people back because they're worried about what's going to happen. So Daryl Wolski, by the way, of Hockey 2112. So if you guys are not familiar, he's been one of our guests. So he has some excellent material that they've had over on their site. So I'm just going to kind of pull some of it up for you guys. If you go over there, you can kind of learn a little bit about the rankings and kind of the teams that are seen better in Europe as he gets a lot of guys out there. And actually, if you want to see what they provide, their overall ranking, their salaries, who pays the best, he's got some excellent material out there. So definitely go give Darowolski 2112. We also follow him over on X. And check out some of the stuff they have over at their hockey site. I think that you guys would really enjoy reading up on some of the stuff that they got out there. Oh, man. So how close? What time do you got to leave, buddy? At 7:07.
I still have a little bit of time left. Probably another 15, 20 minutes here, and then I get well,
Skinnamarink dinky dink. Macklin Celebrini has come up on the stage and talked. Have you noticed Macklin sounds like I like Macklin. He's an incredible player, ready to play, but he sounds like he's 12. Yeah, poor guy, wearing braces, going in.
I didn't see him have braces. Did he have braces?
Oh, did he? Oh, no. I think his braces have come off now. But if you watch when he's had braces, so the lips stick out. Okay, I'm really nitpicking here. But definitely Macklin, I thought Connor seemed young. But and I even thought Nugent Hopkins when he came in looked young. But definitely Macklin Celebrini looks really, really young. My mom just said that she thinks that Macklin Celebrini reminds her of my grandson. So Washington is stepping up.
All right.
I wish my grandson was stepping up.
I'm going to keep saying this. They need scoring.
Well, Liam Greentree. Here you go. Wow. They just took Derek Parizak. So
something's going on with Yzerman if he's dropping like that.
So yeah. So this is kind of what I heard. is that they kind of felt like this is kind of like, how he would have went number 2 overall, Mishkov. His attitude, the way he talks, is he committed to defense? Is he a team guy? Those are the things that were the rumored things that were out there. I know we have no proof what's true. Talking to Jamie and his interview with Cole, they don't think that with it. So, but
well, there's something going on because he's clearly not being picked.
Well, at this stage, if I'm him, I want to go to a team that's got someone that is going to help me. And now Chicago has an opportunity to take Cole Yzerman.
That's true.
So I want you to think about this. At the beginning of the year, they just gotten Connor Bedard. They were about to start the season, and Cole Yzerman was ranked number 2 to start the year almost on every board on the rankings. And now he's sitting there for them, now ready to be drafted to the Chicago Blackhawks. And if not, you got the Vegas Golden Knights sitting right behind him. So there's no way I can see him passing. If he passes on these next 2 guys, there's got to be some information that's being passed around that we're unfamiliar with. But then the Toronto Maple Leafs will take him. So I think Toronto's got to be excited because they got Cole Yzerman on the table, Liam Greentree. They got Zach Boisvert, Trevor Connolly. I don't see them taking Trevor just because of the off ice. And Michael Haig out of Chicago Steel. So
the thing that Toronto's going to take is a defense.
You think they're going to take defense at this stage? Problem is defense are going to have to go off the board a bit this early. That's going to be the problem.
Jordan is messaging me so much for Cole Yzerman. Hey, Evan, huh?
Yeah. So, Jordan, you do know that just because someone's picked early, hello, Pui RV. How did that turn out for you, picking nice and early? How many players have not made it in the early rounds? Because you're picked later doesn't mean that you weren't a better player. So anyway, okay, here we go. But I'm actually excited about this for Yzerman, though, because I actually think that this could be an excellent move here for Chicago going in. I bet you Chicago goes up. The only other person I wonder if they do look at is Liam Greentree, because he is 6'2", is offensive, and he plays a bit of a tough game. Because do they want some bigger player to go with Connor Bedard, though, too, right? Some guys that they can kind of grow with him. But whichever this player is for Chicago, you're still looking 2 years out minimum, right? Not this year. Maybe the year after or the year after that, right? So you're 2 to 3 years out. And Liam Greentree is CHL. He's with the Windsor Spitfires. If you go with Cole Yzerman, you got to remember you got that whole American thing that they could decide to sit out and then not sign, right? And then go back into become a free agent, just like or they force someone to be able to go where they actually want to go. So that'll be interesting on that. So
can we just shout out to the people watching, tuning in? You've been with us for over 2 hours. We appreciate it.
Wow.
Really committed to being here, and we've gotten more and more views as time goes on. Clearly, we are getting better and aging like a fine wine the longer we go on.
Oh, man. Okay, so I'm just checking. There's a 100-point rookie season, 105. He's up there with Crosby and everyone in the CHL. So that from the Prince George Cougars. Here's my thing with Perzak. I think a little bit of playing with the Prince George Cougars this year kind of inflated his stats, just in my opinion. That's why I wasn't as high on him. I would have put him about around 18, 19 is probably where I would have had him when I was kind of looking at players. He was just in behind, so he's close, but with the guys that are on. So we're just kind of awaiting on Chicago. It's interesting they haven't moved up fast, though. Yeah. Do you notice that?
Possible that maybe a trade.
Yeah. Do you think that they might press back? Well, Zill did think a trade was going to happen earlier, so she got that. Some people thought there'd be 2-3 trades in the first round, and we're really only halfway, if you think about it, right? So what do we got? What number are we at now? 17.
Yep.
What are we at? 18. Okay, yeah. So just past halfway. So. Okay, so Jordan, since you're following us still, You're good at adding your ad lib in, so you're really good at this. You should be the scout that is hired. Who is getting picked? Who is Chicago taking? The pick is in. Chicago is now on the board, and we're going to
Trevor
come in.
Connolly.
So they're ready to go.
Blackhawks are proud to select Muskegon Wonderbat.
Wow.
Sasha Boisvert.
So they call him Boisvert. I thought it was Boisvert. Okay, there you go. So they took Sasha Boisvert from the Muskegon Lumberjacks of the USHL. All right, so the stuff I got in this guy, 6'2". He's only 176 pounds. Good length, uses it well. So my notes are telling you that he's got defensive responsibilities. He's good with it. His puck skills are not there, though. He still needs some work. Did have 36 goals. Has a high-end shot, though. That is a good thing. So, his skating is probably more of, he's more of an average skater. He's okay, but he's not top. So, interesting. So, there's a couple of the guys that we mentioned. So, my two guys that I still have in there, that I have ranked in there, of course, is Cole Eiserman, as our friend Jordan Robert of the show would like to, Jordan like to bug me about. And and well, you know what? I put myself out there, and I put myself out there for criticism. So there you go. There's something maybe I don't know. And Liam Greentree. So those are the two guys that we're waiting for to be drafted here today for our show before we come off the air with it. Hey, so interesting. Who do you see? So Cam Atkinson getting bought out by the Philadelphia Flyers. So he has that ability to go find somewhere. Love to see him move to a team that has a chance at a Stanley Cup. Do you see a potential fit there for him in somewhere in the West or the East on one of the Cup contending teams?
I think so. I think he's going to go somewhere where they're competitive and could compete for a playoff spot, and that he knows that he can make an impact and win the game, play a bottom six role. He's not the fleetest of foot, but he's gritty. He can battle, and he can maybe penalty kill. So definitely an interesting take if he can go somewhere. I don't know if he would go west. He has been there, but maybe he stays in the East if he's already settled in. You look at a team like, who I would see them taking a chance on, although I don't know if they can make it work. A New York Islanders. He seems like a Lou Lamoriello kind of guy. We can come out and be that kind of difference maker there, right?
But obviously he'll take a contract, but they're not definitely a cup contender. If he wants a cup, though, the chances are going to. Well, again, I'm going by the odds, right? The odds makers. He has a better chance if he goes to the West. I don't know if he wants to go West, but I could see. So here's something interesting. He's at that stage in his career too. We know he's what they call a shift disturber. And you got to wonder, they're going to be going through a few changes, letting a few guys go, bring a couple new guys in. I'm just looking on the retooling when you're talking even about Edmonton and or even a possibility, a couple changes even in Colorado, right? On one of those teams. Could there be a potential if he can sign in at like 1.5 or 1.6 and be willing to play that third or fourth line role, right?
Yeah. Hey, Kyle, great to hear from you. Go Bruins. Bruins hasn't picked yet, but yeah, go on.
Yeah,
Bruins.
well, I will say this. The Bruins, they might get a chance to pick Cole Eiserman.
Yeah. It sounds like DeBrusk is about to hit the free market, and there's been a lot of rumblings about them wanting a center. Chandler Stevenson, I'm looking at you, as well as Elias Lindholm, but I think Stevenson would be a better fit for Boston, and I think they would go for him most likely. So that's kind of my prediction.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this earlier on, Lindholm. I see Lindholm signing there. They'll find a way to make the deal. I think everyone is going to be laughing because I think what's going to end up happening, is you're going to end up seeing Lindholm signing for cheaper than Calgary or Vancouver offered him in Boston. Yeah. And everyone's going to go, what? And it's going to be because he wanted to go there. There was a lot of talk that his actually wife had shared in Vancouver that they kind of been wanting this all along. So who knows, right? So, but yeah, not sure what you think, Kyle, what you see happening in the off season. But if you've heard anything, always share it. Send it over to us, guys, over our way. So Michael Hagee, still of the Chicago Steel, is out there. Trevor Connolly, there were some off-ice issues. Obviously, Cole Eiserman has dropped some of the rumors around his defensiveness, his attitude, maybe more of a one-dimensional. Some people say, even though he has an aggressive play of style and has set records in there, got to see him play a couple times. Now, I didn't see as much. I relied a lot on some of the other people that I had heard, and I trusted some of them that I knew more than the traditional ones. That might end up costing me a bad look. We'll see. We're not going to probably know for like at least another 3 years. So, yeah. But Vegas is now they're on the clock. So there's Eiserman and Lee Greentree left in mine. But there's Connolly and Haig, and then there's always a whole bunch of others that are kind of I don't have listed. I wasn't sure how far back. I assumed that I could end up around 20 to 22 people in before my full 15 would actually get called out. It is interesting. This year has been a bit of a crapshoot that they did not know because they said, really, you got your one, and then you got like 2 to 7. And then there was a whole bunch of others that could go anywhere, right, across the line. So Vegas, there you go. They're excited, and they're at home.
Yeah.
Are they going to take the best player?
Maybe.
Here we go. Here we go, Kelly. And they will pick.
Remember, he's a Western hockey guy.
They're going with Trevor Connolly that has the off-ice issues. Wow. You know, it's interesting because if anyone's going to take off-ice issues, it's Vegas, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're not worried what people think about him. So this guy's an exceptional skater, great one-on-one skills. He is amazing, though, his ability to play that tough power forward game. Clear offensive skills. He has incredible offensive skills, this guy. So definitely look out. I think that this is the kind of player that they like. This really, like, you know, if you think of the Riley Smiths, if you think of the Marcia Shows, the way that they play the game, that's definitely the kind of player that they're looking for. And Trevor Connolly is going to be that player. Oh, my goodness. They got the fancy girls. You guys will see here just as it comes up on the screen. They got the Vegas looking like the cheerleader, I guess you could say, the dancers.
The flop 1920s
there she is, guys. You can see it on the screen here coming up. It's like, woo! He's probably like, oh, my God, I just landed in heaven. Yeah. So good for them. There you go. I got my jersey right here to my side. They're putting on. It's got the circa. So welcome to the NHL. Jersey has made the jersey. They made their pick. They have picked Trevor Connolly. Trevor Connolly of the Tri-City Storm of the USHL. He is a left wing, and he stands, I believe he stands around 6'2", it was, or somewhere around there with it. So he's got good maturity, though. Big boy. He's going to work really well if you're not familiar with this player. Great guy. So the question is now, how far, this is the story of the night now, how far will Cole Eiserman fall? Like, where do we go to the next place? You have the Islanders up, and I know you mentioned if he fell. Now, Lou is very particular about his players. If Cole has issues, do you think he'd actually take them? I can't see Lou doing it. So I would say then we're probably not going to see a player like Eiserman go to the Islanders. And you know who's up after the Islanders? The Montreal Canadiens.
Ooh.
So, I mean, I could see them definitely taking a shot at another goal scorer. Because they have a lot of good prospects in the system. They got some big players that they've taken. They've already taken. I mean, could you imagine if they had Demidov and Cole Eiserman?
Oof.
You know, I mean, Again, that's if Cole Eiserman is the player that, that I'm
Right.
actually thinking that he
I've
can
said it a
potentially be.
bazillion times, but you know who needs scoring, Evan? The Islanders.
Oh, and who do we got left on my?
Eiserman's going to the Islanders.
How about this? Okay, it is time for the Red Wings. Okay, guys, this is how tonight has gone, and this is us at Two Guys in Hockey Talk. Evan says, so the Red Wings are up. I could see Eiserman potentially taking Eiserman. They go with someone else. St. Louis comes up. And as my partner keeps saying, you know who can do scoring? St. Louis Blues. And then Capitals come up and go, oh, this would be a good match, an American. Let's go. And my partner says, you know who needs scoring? Chicago. This is a great chance for them. No, they don't take him. And he has continued to drop. So not a surprise that he dropped in the rankings, but it's a surprise that he has dropped this low. But it is amazing because there is a lot of players once they get to a certain stage. Zill, I see that you have a listing. You're saying that it is the Kings after the Isles, unless there was a trade with. I'm showing that Montreal. I'm going to reload, unless I missed something on a trade. I think it's Montreal that I'm showing. Hang on. I'm showing Montreal after the Islanders. I'm not showing the Kings. Did that not get traded? Is that maybe what actually happened?
It's possible.
Is that why?
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
I thought it was the Islanders up next.
So 21. Let me just go in and check. Oh, yeah. So, Zill, the Montreal Canadiens received the LA Kings 2024 first-round draft pick and number 2 for their 2024 first round 26 and a 2024 second round pick, which was 57 that came from Colorado, and a 2024 seventh round pick 198. So that was a trade that was made. I don't have the timing of the trade, but a trade was made. So Montreal has moved up, and that was made prior to the draft, though. So
wasn't that the trade today with Montreal that they traded with LA?
Was that the draft pick one?
That was the draft pick one.
Let me just see if I can just kind of pull up. Just getting to the right site so that you can pull up the right information sometimes, right? I know around it. So, okay, here we go. Let's pull it up, get in there, get the right ones. Okay, the pick's in.
We're going to welcome.
There goes the New York Islanders, as you said, need scoring. Patrick Waugh, he's not there.
The company meeting here is Director of Scouting,
Lou Lamoriello and Anders Lee.
Yeah, but where's Patrick Waugh? I guess coach, right? He's at the table probably.
Yeah.
Usually. Cole Eiserman, you're right. They took the power. Great deal for them. No, they're getting a goal scorer. Okay, so this is what I'm going to say. If Lou Lamoriello takes Cole, there's not an issue there. Lou's pretty good when it comes to this. He doesn't make too many bad.
Or Evan, as I said before, they need scoring.
So there you guys go. I'm kind of sad that it actually. I was actually kind of hoping that he could fall to Montreal. They'd have that chance, but maybe they go with Liam Greentree now. So, all right, guys. So let me give you a little bit on Cole Eiserman. Finally, I've got my charts out. I do have him ranked at 3. I see him as the third best player coming out of this draft, as having the third best career. He might be discouraged, but he's going to be happy. He's going to the New York Islanders. They are a rebuilding team. Patrick Waugh, maybe I'll get you to comment about the rebuilding and what they're doing there with Patrick Waugh. But he is the best goal scorer in this draft. Literally, he is the best in this draft. He was the all-time leading goal scorer now with 127 goals in 2 seasons for the National Team Development Program. Averaged better than a goal a game with 58 goals in 57 appearances. His shooting ability, especially his lethal one-timer, as good as it gets in this class. His improved elements of his game, not to the degree that some have obviously thought today, but he has continued some thought he would be in the lottery range, but obviously he has fallen. But he has incredible scoring capabilities, and he likes to play physical. That's why Philadelphia had considered him, but obviously went in different directions. So, congratulations to Cole Iserman. He went with Lou Lamoriello to the Islanders. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about the Islanders. What's your thoughts? Do you think TJ and the grumpy old man, former guest season 2, would be happy right now?
I think so. I think they have some balls in the air. They have Sorokin signed in long term, so they have their goaltending. Their backhand is pretty solid. I think again, Patrick Roy was getting them to play a little bit more open after Lane Lambert was let go and Patrick Roy was brought in. They definitely need a little bit better from their top 6 guys. From Anders Lee, who was injured a little bit this season. They weren't getting as much production. I know they signed few other guys to big contracts. Barzell is there. He's made an impact. He's been able to kind of play a little bit more loosely. But again, you need, Bo Horvat putting up some good points. Not what you would expect, but again, new team, new fit. But you really want them to have an opportunity to just kind of play a little bit more and open it up and have a little bit better of a power play and be able to contribute. You got some older players on the Cal Clutterbucks and stuff like that, and those guys are impactful leaders, but you need more from them on the ice. And I think that's what they're looking for. And you got to get a little younger. I think the problem with the Islanders is they're one of the older.
They were
teams.
older, yeah.
They need some young blood, and this will fit right into that need.
Yeah, it is. I know that's been the talk is the Islanders got to find a way to get younger. They got to find a way to get younger. And obviously this is a draft, so they were going to draft someone younger. But how do they move out from old contracts that cost more players? They try to buy out some. It gets kind of tough. And when you're picking this far back, so that's the thing is, they had a decent season. It wasn't terrible. But at the same time, then you're not getting as good at players, and so it's a little harder to build up when you're sitting right in the middle. That's kind of the problem that you run into, with it now. So, but now the thing is now we're moving into teams now at this stage that are teams that were playoff teams.
Yeah.
Right. So that essentially the group that has gone now, where all the teams that did not make the playoffs or just on the outskirts of the playoffs. So at this stage now, it's just like, okay, this is really where deep study, lots of time. They're going to rely a lot on the character. They want to know how soon are they coming over? How deep is their pool? But now you got to wonder if there might be a few trades. This is the part where you trade now to drop down 4 or 5. And someone comes up just because of a player, and they give up a 3rd or a 4th or a 5th round later tomorrow or sometime later, right?
Right. So where are we at with your list? Well, how many left?
Yeah, so we're just waiting on Liam Greentree now. I had him as my 15th overall, so all my guys are gone, and we're sitting here now at pick number 21. So in the top 20, 14 of my guys have gone. We're just waiting now on Liam Greentree to see where he's going to go. I think that he's probably going to go either to Nashville or Montreal here in the next 21 or 22, most likely.
So I'll see what this Montreal pick is, and then I'm going to slowly have to step away here.
Hey, guys. So just a heads up there if you're with us here today. So we're just going through our Revs top 15. Kind of walking through here on the draft day. Montreal's about to step up to the pick here, so why don't we go ahead and see what they actually are going to do.
From the Chicago Steel in USHL, Michael Hayes.
Michael Hayes, that was the other guy on the outside because I had him at 17. So they did take Michael Hayes. So I'm going to be a little bit delayed. You're probably not going to be with us for the final one. This guy's got wheels, man. He's got wheels. I could see why Montreal would want him. Wheels, nose for the net. The Liam Greentree doesn't have the same wheels, but he's a bigger guy. They also like their USHL guys. Kent Hughes is a big UHL guy. A very impressive campaign. 4th among all the USHL players with 75 points. So this isn't a bad pick. I think if you're a Montreal fan picking this far in at number 20, was it 21? You should be pretty happy with this pick. So Michael Hayes from the Chicago Steel is now off. So all the extra guys I thought could potentially be extras and come in did get picked, my 4 extra guys. So there was only one guy I had that was off of the scales that I did not expect to come in, and that was the Prince George Cougars, the Cougars, not the Coopers. Oh, hey, so Chris Kostopoulos, a former player that we had, remember he played for the Hartford Whalers.
Yes.
Well, you and I have talked about the old Cooperalls that Philly wore. I just saw some video. I didn't realize the Hartford Whalers wore Cooperalls at one time. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
So now it's got me thinking we need to do a deep dive to whether there are NHL teams out there and how many actually wore the Cooperalls? Because I thought that it was very specific to only one team. Okay, so okay, so what was it that she wrote? Phoenix Rays from the ashes of Morello fiasco should be called the fire. Oh, okay, that's what you were talking about earlier. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I was trying to figure out what that actually meant earlier when you were saying that. I didn't. So Zill, they did not take. Zill had asked if they were taking another big D. No, they went with the center. I think but they went with a decent sized center, not as big as they could have in Liam Greentree, but Liam Greentree wouldn't be a center. He'd be an actual right wing through there.
Well, so, Evan, as much as I've loved being on with you, I do have to step away.
All right, bud.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Good luck.
Yeah, absolutely.
He gets picked out, and I will see you on Wednesday night. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We are here every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. I am REV the Cat at Twitter/xhockey_2. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Good luck. It's been a heck of a draft. See you all next week.
Hey, man, keep your stick on the ice.
Stay safe.
Cheers, man. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye. All right, guys. So you are left now alone with me here. My partner has had to leave, so he stayed on for my top 14. We are 2.5 hours into the draft. It's actually, it's amazing how fast time flies. I was going to say when you're having fun, but maybe I'm having fun and you're not having fun because I'm the one that gets to do all the talking and you're not able to. So I was going to say that if you're out there right now and you want to join in, what I'm going to do is just to give a chance, I'm only waiting on Liam Greentree to be called out. So I am going to send a link to you. I'm going to post it in the comments section. So in the comments section, I'm sending you a link and I can invite you into the back doors if you want to jump on a broadcast, share a couple thoughts, how you think it's been going. So you'll see the links I've just sent out. You can join us live right here on the NHL Entry Draft for 2024. If you have the ability to jump in, feel free to do so. And I'll bring you on and give you a chance to kind of give your thoughts on your take on what has actually happened here today. So again, I'm going to bring you back to my actual draft here, guys. So one of the things that I do every year is and watch for this on our website at twoguysinhockeytalk.com. You can check out Rev's top 15, and we sponsor and we talk about them at the beginning of the year and throughout the year at different times. All right, guys. So, Rev's Top 15. You can check it out. My Rev's Top 15 is not based off some of the other ones that you've actually saw before. The Rev's Top 15 is actually based on where I see their careers, where their careers will be lying in the end. So, in other words, whether they're going to be like in 10 years and in 15 years when they finish their careers. So right now, the biggest surprise, I knew that Cole would fall to at least probably 10 to 15. Did not expect him to fall to the New York Islanders, but the New York Islanders ended up taking him at number 20. So number 20, Cole. I said Cole Caulfield, I think, but my accent, Cole Yzerman did go there, so they got their scoring touch. I have one player in my top 15 that is still waiting We're just waiting right now on Nashville Predators at pick number 22. My last one that has not been pulled out is Liam Greentree. That's right. That's Liam Greentree. So I'm going to give you a little heads up about Liam. He's 6'2", clear offensive sense and ability. This guy is incredible. The only thing is his compete level can wane. That's one of the things that puts him back a little bit more than some of the other players that you may be looking at. And that's the downside, because you don't always know. That consistency is huge. And it kind of gives me pause, and that's why I moved him back to 15. I wasn't sure between him and Michael Hage, who has already been picked, Michael Hage. But he finishes a lot of the plays that he creates. So he's really good at taking theirs. But it's going to be more challenging to him to do at the next level. So it looks like right now the Nashville Predators are going up to make their pick right now. And we'll see if they're going to – Liam Greentree of the Winnipeg Spitfires is their kind of player. But they have a habit of going elsewhere often than where I'm actually picking. If not, Toronto, and I definitely see Toronto going for a Greentree type player. So let's see what the Nashville Predators are going to go. So Barry Trotz, the general manager, is just giving credit to Smashville.
We have a retiring scouting, Glenn Sanders, and I want to thank him.
They're just thanking right now for their scouts and one of the guys that's going to be retiring. They're going to call up someone right now.
Assistant General Manager Jeff Kelty.
All right, Jeff Kelty's coming up, the assistant general manager that they have there in place. Remember, Trotz used to be the head coach.
From Yaroslav Lokomotiv, Yegar Cern.
Okay, they went with Yegar Cern. So I am going to have to do a little research, because I do not know Yegar. Actually, well, I do, but I don't have his details. Here we go. Let me just kind of pull up some of the information that I actually had. Here we go. Let's see where we are. Igor Surin. There we go. Am I going to get it? There we go. It's funny, they're spelling it different actually on TV than they actually have it in the listings. Okay. All right. So this guy is sitting at 6'1", but he is light. He is around 182 pounds. He's been ranked around 35, 63, 34, 31, 38, 30, 26, 50. Central Scouting has him at 22. So they're one of the NHL Central Scouting, which, again, they separate their groups. Drafting 50, Sportsnet 29. So essentially, this is one that's kind of off the books that Nashville has ended up taking along the way. So interesting. So we're still waiting on Liam Greentree to see what's going to happen on that. So I just want to kind of come back right now to, so while Nashville's sitting there, so if you have heard, so in the $7 million range, that Saros is not being traded. So if you have been waiting in on kind of finding out what is going to happen, and maybe you were hoping for your team to potentially pick up Saros, not happening. They've stayed longer. So now you can actually see the rumors. You're going to see them all over the place. That Askarov, who was the big deal, the Russian goalie who everyone was all over in the first round. So Askarov is now, because of the change and the plans, he was to be coming in this year. There is talk now that he is open and they are listening to offers. It could even go around a little later here today. Who knows? Do they want to jump back up into the first round? Will there be a trade, or will this be something that's going to happen leading up to the next one? So right now, so there's a lot of booing going on, and that's because the Toronto Maple Leafs are ready to pick. So now Toronto, just know this, that they do like their CHL players. So I can definitely see them looking for somebody who's big and tough. Not sure exactly who they're going to end up picking, but this could be an interesting pick here for them. I see Greentree definitely going to Toronto and or Colorado, or Boston. So Greentree does seem like a kind of guy that could actually fit well in Boston. Not sure if he's going to fall back to those 3 or 4, but we're going to see in just a minute around that. So, but coming back to Nashville. So Nashville, interesting enough, Nashville needs to make some decisions to me, because it looks like what they're trying to do is do a quick retool. They're picking a goalie of Saros, who's that far along, but his age is not telling me that they should be giving him that long of a contract. That's one of the things that I'm a little bit concerned about. So, all right. So the Leafs are up. They're ready to make a pick. Not sure if they're going to be getting ready to call a trade. It looks like there's a little bit of a pause, or are they just waiting? Nope. So Brad Treliving is on the phones right now. So he's trying to figure out, he's putting the phone down. So that this is like being an NHL broadcaster. You're calling the play-by-play of a silly draft table. So if you're noticing him out there, he's on his phone. He's talking. He puts his phone down in just a moment here, and he's sitting back. I'm not sure if he's going for the pick or if he's pushing it back. So the question is the other team just going to make a move, or are they just going to go ahead and pick it? So a lot of times what happens is there's a couple options that are on the table for the team, so they don't jump. They're kind of waiting for players. They have a certain clock time before they have to make absolutely any changes along with it. So if you haven't got a chance to see, I'm just going to post it again. If you do want to jump on, you can jump on onto our show. I have a little spot in the background that in the comment section, you'll be able to jump in and you can kind of give us your take if you want to come live onto the show. Only have probably about another 5 minutes. The plan was to stay on for all 15, but if Toronto and or the Colorado Avalanche do not pick Liam Greentree, that will be the end. I only have about 5-10 minutes left to be with you guys here on it. There is a trade. Folks, there is a trade. Batman loves to hear the trade. They take pick number 23 in this year's draft. They're sending it to Anaheim so they can get 31 and 58. So 23 to Anaheim, and they're getting Anaheim's 31st and 58. So what they essentially did is got Anaheim's 31st that they had from the Edmonton Oilers in exchange for Adam Henrique on last year's first draft. And they're also taking Anaheim's 58th overall that they actually have. So Anaheim is now on the clock. So what is Anaheim going to do? This is interesting. So who are they going up for with the players? Do they have someone that they actually give up their later first round that they felt it was important to jump up? I'm wondering now if this could be the Liam Greentree that they're looking, but I kind of wonder, or is this Toronto just wanting to pick up more draft picks because they've lost a lot of capital? A lot of you didn't like a lot of the things that Cal Dubas did for his trades while he was in Toronto, where he gave up a lot of draft capital. So you got to wonder, is it maybe the draft capital that they're trying to pick up more picks, and they're not too worried because there's not really a player priority, and they feel that they're all quite the same. So we're going to see. But interesting enough, though, so if Anaheim is up, how long are they actually going to wait? So it's interesting as you're looking at them, just looking at them, watching them right now, you're going to see it's going to come up on your screen. They're sitting there. So they just make a trade, and they're sitting at their table, and they're not even going up and running to make the pick. So did you make the trade to make the pick so you can get up there and make your pick? Or are you going to trade that and maybe go get a couple of, I don't know. But remember, these are the same guys. Okay, they're going up to make their pick now. So interesting. They do have a jersey. I wonder if they actually have a name on that jersey that they thought they could even move up. This will be interesting. Or did they have to wait? Maybe they had to wait to get the name put on the back of the jersey. All I know is they took a player that was very odd at number 3 that not many people determined. So let's see who they ended up picking. So this is the Anaheim Ducks, who are picking in place of the Toronto Maple Leafs at number 23. They're getting ready to make their pick. And they're going to pass this to someone else. Hang on. Here we go. So they're honoring. So they have one of their staff members that has been fighting cancer, and they wanted to honor him by letting him make this pick. Now there's going to be number 23. Here we go. So they went with Steen Solberg. So can you believe this? Steen Solberg. So this another Norwegian just got picked in the first round. So this is the second ever that they're mentioning Steen Solberg. So let me just pull up some facts here around Steen, because this is interesting. So where we go here. So interesting. So we got the second Norwegian. They've never been drafted in the first round. Sportsnet right now is just talking how now they got the second. So let me tell you the rankings on this guy. He's been ranked 24, 20, 20, 20. Bob McKenzie had him at 20. Craig Button had him at 20. McKean's 23. Central Scouting, Daily, where's it with some of the numbers? Daily Faceoff 21. So this makes sense. He should have been drafted a little bit earlier because we're now past. I kind of had my guys around up to 20. So this makes sense. This guy has been even, Dober had him at 19. So yeah, that's why they wanted to move up and get this guy. They didn't think he'd be available. And maybe it was because Toronto thought that they could get a guy like Liam Greentree a little bit later on. Not sure, but Liam Greentree is dropping. Some people have had Liam kind of looked at a little bit further down the line, depending on who was the draft connections. So in the draft, let's just kind of take a look at some of the groups that Liam's been. Elite had him at 15. Bob had him at 18, so I just can't see him. All the scouts are telling you in the top 18 role. Craig Button had him at 23. McKean, 17. Daily Faceoff at 19. Liam is a good player. 16, 15 Sportsnet Constantino. Bacula Sportsnet, 17. Dober at 18. So, there's more news. Okay. Something's just about to come down. It looks like another trade might have just happened for the Colorado Avalanche now. So they're talking at the tables. Are they back to back? Is that Kyle Dubas in behind with Colorado? I'm wondering. No, that's not Kyle. I'm not sure who they're looking at. If you'll notice on the video right now that he's talking to someone that's actually in behind him. Not sure who that is. And by the way, I just want to say thanks to all of our viewers. If you're joining in right now on my X feed, I appreciate it. Also, two guys on our Facebook page, guys, thanks for following. Batman's. So Utah's up. There you guys go. Utah has a trade. So let's just check and see what they got. So they're going to pull it up. Let me get a better. So Utah gets the 24th overall from the Avalanche for their own 38th, 71st, and New York Rangers second, that round pick that they have for next year. So Utah is on the clock. This will be Utah's second ever. This will be Utah. Remember, they're known as the Utah Hockey Club. So they are Utah HC because, so if you're not familiar with what is happening, you're a little bit new to the game, or if you guys, those that do know, the Utah HC, known as the Utah Hockey Club, were the Arizona Coyotes. They were purchased for approximately $1.2 billion by Smith, who is also the owner of the Utah Jazz of the Basketball Association. They are going to be playing in their arena. They have thousands upon thousands of tickets that were pre-sold for down payments, for deposits. They're trying to make a splash. There is a rumor, I have been told from some people out there, that they are looking right now for some puck-moving defensemen going into this next season. They have a great team. They have a lot of players that should be doing quite well that are in a development mode. So definitely look out for them as they're coming in. So right now, you've got to wonder, why would Utah want to jump up? there's not really many players right now that are left on the table that were higher than Liam Greentree. So Liam Greentree with it. So I'm going to stay with you to the end of this pick right now for the end of the Colorado pick. And then we're going to be calling it a night here at Two Guys and Hockey Talk. Just bring you back to, I'm going to pull in right now just for your sake so you can see my Revs top 15 is based on where I see the projection in their careers. So when you look through, so I have Cole Yzerman. Yes, I do. Demidov was 2. This is not my mock. This is actually what I see the career projection. So that's actually what we're looking at. So of there, the top 4, so 14 of my players have already been selected, actually about 3 folks ago, when my co-host Pavel had wandered off so he could go do his ball hockey game. But in the meantime, I'm just waiting in on Liam Greentree, who I had ranked at number 15. We're just seeing if he's going to go now to the Utah in the trade for the Colorado pick at number 24. So we're getting close to the end of some of the times. We are now sitting at 2 hours and 54 minutes into our show. Just want to mention this coming week, UFA free agency frenzy in the NHL is always known on July 1st. So all your free agents, all your rumors, all the things that could potentially happen, trades leading up right after the draft. A lot of times whatever happens will be some tomorrow, some more at the draft. But what we're going to do is we're going to be able to go live. We're going to go live right now. It looks like they're coming up. The Utah Hockey Club is about to. So it looks like that they went, by the way, with the colors. They went with the light blue kind of a look. I think that they're going to be kind of working towards a look, by the way, with Utah. The talk is with the mountains in the background. But Utah is about to make their pick. We'll see if they'll bring my 15th or if we're just going to be calling it a night. Here we go. Oh, nope. Oh, there we go. We have made a different pick once again. So I wonder what's happening on the Liam Greentree front. That is not the pick that Utah has made. So the Utah Hockey Club has taken Cole Boudon. He is drafted 24th overall. So the Canadian Hockey League continues to put players out there. He was ranked further down in a lot of the people's drafts. But, well, guys, I'm about to call it a wrap here at Two Guys in Hockey Talk. I want to thank you for joining us here today for our Revs Top 15, first ever that we've done live draft like this on my Revs Top 15. Thanks for joining us with this. My 15th, we'll see where it goes, and we'll talk about it on Wednesday for our very last show. So Pavel and I, Pavel the Cat, my co-host, will join me for our very last show. Make sure you plan to join us. We're looking forward to talking all things free agency, trades. Check out us on Facebook. Be over on our X channel. Thank you for all that have been joining in over on my X feed and also through our Facebook. If you want to follow all the things throughout the year, check us out at twoguysinhockeytalk.com. Follow us on X, Instagram. Check us out also over at hockey_2. You can follow Pavel and see what he's got going on. But guys, most of all, as the words of the famous Ed Whalen, it's been a ring of ding-dong dandy. But in the meantime, and in between time, we're going to ask, guys, that you keep your stick on the ice. Could that just put him over the edge?
I'm not too sure. I don't think they did well.
He's a bully.
I'm just so sick and tired. I'm hanging on a wire, a foot over the fire, and it's burning. I can feel it inside. Done with the same cliche, done with the day after day. There's got to be a way. Now is the time to break the tide. I'll live, I'll die for what is wrong and what is right. I'll take the pain for all the ones without a name. To be invincible, we'll be invincible.
They still have a lot of holes to fill.
We'll be
Every
He
time
didn't get fired. He didn't get fired. No, he didn't get fired. He never got his contract renewed.